membership. It's really a lot of fun. And of course, one really cool, awesome thank you to the Crafty Gamer for sponsoring this episode and as well. We're also affiliates with the Crafty Gamer. You can use code WafflesMapleSyrup to get 10% off your order there. But maybe you're unsure. Maybe you're like, do I want one of their beautiful aromas of adventure? What if I don't like the scent? Or what if I don't know what scent to get? I got you, because we're gonna give away an 8-ounce candle tonight on stream. So if you want to win an 8-ounce candle, such as this one right here, which will not be green screened out because I will put it in the right place, you should stick around because we will be able to do that, and you will be able to pick a scent of your choice if you wish, if you win rather, and then you can check it out and then buy more because they're fantastic. But all right, that's, I think, enough of our thank yous. I also did this I should write this down. You think I had it written down? I do, but I also forgot to say hi to all the cool people that are here. So I'm gonna pretend this was all on purpose, and why don't we say hi? Anne, would you like to kick us off?
What's up, everybody? I'm Anne Richmond, aka Hearthsinger, the head bard in charge round these parts. I am a YouTuber and a rascal in the TTRPG space.
Heard it here first.
I do all sorts of content about gaming events and news and how to plays and general thoughts and advice on that type of thing. You can also find my thoughts and my existence and my strange COVID brain musings on Twitter, where you can really find out everything I'm up to. And of course, some of you may know me from the Lost Mountain Saga, which is a Nordic horror RPG, which I am currently game mastering the current arc of. It's an original story by me, set in mythic Britain. So please come hang out at Lost Mountain Saga, and I'll throw the links into chat here so you can follow me when you're done following all of us here.
Do it. Follow every single person here and support the crap out of every single person here. Dimples, how about you?
I'm Prince, also known as Dimples and Dice around the internet. You'll know me on this show as Langston Mawson, along with my good friend Ida, the Sapphire Dragon. What's going on with me? I am a professional GM. I'm Black. I have ADHD. I am the co-founder of Rolling These 20s, where I'm a storyteller for Vampire the Masquerade Philly by Night. We are in our 5th and final season of it. But that does not mean all of our World of Darkness shenanigans are over. It just means this arc of our story. So we're getting close there, so y'all should come and watch and see the shenanigans that happen, because we've done time travel, we've done multiverse, and now Cain, the god of vampires.
I have to say that I have caught snippets of it. I've also heard how you've described this show, and it just gets more and more intriguing. So I do ask everybody to please listen and watch, because this is fascinating to me, and I think y'all will enjoy it. So definitely go check that out.
Yep, and you can catch us on YouTube if you want to get caught up. Basically, YouTube starts at season 3, where the retcon of the world has happened. So that's all the parts.
No big deal. No big deal.
And then you can also catch me on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. for Wayward Revelry, a D&D 5e campaign, where I am running a Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign with my own Feywild twist. There's more stuff happening, but those are the stuff happening.
We're all very busy people, is what I'm hearing. So I think y'all should follow the social medias and make sure you're able to find all the cool things that we're doing, even the things that we haven't said today, just to make sure you can catch everything. Waffles, how about you?
That's me. I'm Waffles. You can find me at GM_Waffles on the Twitter, where I talk about mental health and autism and GM tips. I make maps. I guess they're good enough to get paid for, so check that out. it's a thing.
I'm just gonna translate that real quick. Waffles makes amazing maps that he is indeed commissioned for.
You guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna challenge that entirely because I think they're absolutely
I'm
gorgeous,
learning.
and I was surprised and taken away
You're dope.
by the ones that I saw.
Waffles
recently.
makes dope maps.
Yeah, there you go.
Very dope. I'd buy them.
There you go. Cool.
You heard it here first. Dimple would buy them, therefore you must. Also, I'm starting to drop this knowledge. My special interest outside of ttrpgs, TFT. If no one knows League of Legends or any of that stuff, TFT is like an auto chess type of game from League of Legends, and I am...
Maybe you'll see some of that content.
Yeah, maybe you'll see some of it in the future, and I am rather good at it. I'm in the top like 1% of players, so we'll see all that.
TLDR hit diamond for those of y'all that do know what that
High
means.
diamond, yeah.
But anyways, and did you say GM_waffles? You did. Okay.
I did it.
And then to our missing player tonight, as if you haven't noticed the missing screen of Doom that is here-ish, I believe. It's kind of where it is on the overlay. That is the amazing and wonderful David. I will give him a shout out despite his unfortunate inability to be here tonight, but he has given us his blessing to continue on without him. And who knows what exciting story reasons these curveballs come out in story with. It's kind of fun to see what we do to kind of make it all make sense. But you can find David on Twitter at David Tilstra, and so go support the heck out of our lovely fourth player. All right, so I think that's it. I'm Syrup, by the way. You can find me on Twitter at Revic_Syrup. But enough talking, because we have a really cool, exciting show to get to. I believe we have like a whole tavern to explore, a whole building to explore.
I'm in.
I'm sure, y'all, this will take like less than a session, right? For sure.
Yeah,
It's just a building.
sure.
What
Just a
can we find in a building? But we're about to find out. So catch this awesome intro video, and we'll see you in just a sec. Welcome back in.
Yeah.
All right. So, you all last session arrived to the Bluefin Tavern. Not so. The way there was totally fine as you headed your way back to the Lakeport docks. But as a reminder to those that maybe need a little refresher, this came after a little bit of a interaction, if you will, with some Siren guards. A little scuffle maybe. But y'all quickly took care of that, and I think you did actually leave maybe one of them alive. You're generous. Who would call y'all murder hobos? No, not me. And
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Kay killed nobody, so.
It's true. That's true. But don't worry, y'all. You safely tucked those bodies in the basement of the bookshop, and joining alongside y'all is Mayfire, the companion associate of Fawn Lee, who in her own route left the bookshop in a different direction, parting ways, perhaps a tearful and touching goodbye with Mayfire as you split up, with the bookshop with the lights dimmed and off behind you, and made your way to the Bluefin. So here we are as you arrive to the sound of cheers and laughter pouring out from what can only be described as what used to be a theater, with the kind of roof of it blown off, and then makeshiftly repurposed into this really cool tavern. And you see the sign of the scrawled, painted on it, the Bluefin, swaying in the wind on the docks as you make your way there. As you approach, however, Locke kind of jumps up and in my perfect Irish, I believe, accent says, you're not getting one off of me. He says, I actually, since we're back at the docks, I realized I forgot something at the ship, so I'm going to go check to see if it's still here, and just kind of see if I could get it. But I will catch up with y'all. I know where this is, so I will catch up with y'all in as soon as I'm done. And excuses himself.
All right then. I guess we'll go find the boat captain. I thought that was kind of his thing, she says to Langston.
Maybe we'll just scout out the place first and he'll join later for the heavy lifting.
Fair.
It's not like we have to stick together all the time, right?
Don't be so fast to run off on us.
You guys just got the party together. You just got your quest.
Split the party.
Langston looks over at Ida, is like,
none of that came through.
and Ida's, Langston looks over at Ida and goes, we've made it through on our own before. Like, right? And Ida's just like,
No.
Ida just kind of like buries herself into your hood, trying to just like avoid its eye contact with you, like, sure. But there's still the three of you, ready to cross the rickety docks, slick with the mist of what is the oncoming night fall. It's probably the evening now, perhaps like 6 p.m. You have a full evening ahead of you, after everything that went down at the bookshop. So, do you all head inside?
I do. I do have a question for you. With all of our conversation in the back of the bookshop, and downstairs, would that constitute a short rest?
Ooh, that's a great question. Let me flip through the book real quick. I'll let you know.
That's a good question.
This requires an hour of downtime. I feel like maybe we could have one.
Yeah. No, for sure. You guys can definitely get that short rest in. Actually, would y'all... no, let's keep it a short rest. We got this. Yeah,
That's fair.
That's fine.
Right.
You guys, what, you expect trouble or something? What's
No.
the
No.
worst that can happen?
yeah,
It's
this
just
is
a Bluefin.
absolutely going to be peaceful. I am not starting at all a bar fight.
Yeah, why would you start any fights?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure
would
Locke
not.
was the one that was gonna start all the fights, and Locke just went off, so you're fine.
That's true. Locke's the troublemaker, not Kay or Hex or
No,
Ida
right?
or Langston.
Camera.
This is the episode where we find out that Locke was the glue that held us all together.
Yep.
David, what have you done? All right. So you head on in, but yes. Also, I want to ask: in the times you got a short rest, absolutely. In the time at the bookshop, y'all like in the discussion and giving everything like that, you had time to put the bodies down. You had plenty of time. I'm just curious for my own, definitely not ulterior motive reasons. Did anybody like read any of the books that she showed y'all? Because y'all, nobody said it. And I think that's very valid.
I didn't say it, but one of the things that Langston was doing was picking through like all of especially the financials. I don't know.
No, this is actually afterwards. When you went down to the basement and she showed you the Bell's Lament, and she said this is the book that they were after. This is not in the bookshop proper, but afterwards.
Oh yeah, if she'd have told us that it was a book they were after, if she'd have let me read it, mostly because Langston was interested in her, not necessarily the book, he would have read it.
Okay.
Kay would not have read it, but if they were allowed to take it, they would have taken it out of the bookshop to like read it later. But if not, then they would not have made a move to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Langston is that I'm into what you're into kind of guy.
Yeah. Whatever you say. So let's do this because nobody mentioned it last time. Nobody really took the time to read the book, but Kay, y'all, by the time this was all kind of getting wrapped up and Mayfire and Fawnley were like, had a moment where they were just talking to each other. There was this recognition that they were leaving this bookshop behind. The front door was broken. Y'all newspapered it up, and this is a very dangerous book to have. It's why the Spearing Guards attacked. So I will give you an opportunity to have taken that book without necessarily, knowing that basically, eventually someone's going to find these bodies, eventually something's going to happen, and this is going to go down. So you could have secured that book and taken it with you, but it is very dangerous to have that book.
If she was fine with Kay would not steal it. Like, no sleight of hand, but if she was fine with Kay having it, Kay would have taken it. Like, absolutely. She doesn't care how dangerous it is.
All right, then. And why the mustache dimple?
It's Langston, right?
Yes, my bad. It's cosplay, my bad.
Yeah, it adds
It's very
to it.
refined.
Then absolutely. So Kay, in an inner pocket, you do have this book. Unread as of yet, but perhaps you'll have plenty of time to read it tonight. Nothing's gonna happen. So, thank you.
Sorry, I'll set the ground rules for that. Knowing that this is a dangerous book, Kay will not pull it out in public.
Sounds good. Alright, so, upon entering, a gust of thick, sticky air generates a warm welcome. The salvaged mast from a retired galleon dominates the center of this old theater. Hundreds of large vertebrae coil up the tall beam, fastened to the rib cage of a massive aquatic beast, suspended high in the air by ribbons and rope. The monstrous skull of the great beast rests just above the barkeep's counter. Inside its hollow sockets, this giant, head skull of this beast, is piles of coin, jewelry, shiny baubles that sort of spill out in front of two flickering candles, imbuing the shrine to this long-dead behemoth with an eerie sense of being. It's really cool, and there's a picture in this book. By any chance, Dimples, do you have that in front of you, and could you show it to the class?
Of course I do.
Can I ask a question?
Gorgeous.
I'm not making fun of you, I promise.
Uh-huh.
We're
Did I
showing the
say
interior
behemoth
again.
weird? Yes, that.
That's what I was going to ask. I wanted to make sure you weren't saying behemoth.
No.
Okay.
Behemoth.
Okay.
Wow.
Y'all, that's a top-down view of the place. It's so
Good golly.
amazing and gorgeous, the art in this book. And look at
Yeah.
that giant thing. So that giant, skeleton of a aquatic animal is the tail of it kind of wraps around that mast that spirals down into the center of this space. The Bluefin Tavern buzzes with chaotic energy, cluttered and bustling charm intertwined with the disorder. Crates form makeshift tables to seat large groups, while a private booth accessible by a rope ladder is nestled inside the skeletal ribcage of the hanging beast. That's super cool. Lanterns sway with the lake's gentle breeze and cast flickers of orange light to the floor. You see two energetic tieflings surrounded by casks of ale and bottled spirits operating the main bar at the far end of the old auditorium. Onlookers perched in second-story galleries gawk at the follies of the drunkards below, and on one deck, a amused elf leans against the railing, chuckling as two drunkards stumble over each other while attempting to dance. On another, two young women clink their rapiers together, each holding up a frothy tankard as they both shout, "To steady hands!" Welcome to the Bluefin Tavern. I will also share with you all a handout outlining the sort of map of the space that we will utilize to kind of maneuver here.
Battle map.
No.
A handout.
like
A
that.
handout.
A handout.
Battle map. Here's your handout. Roll initiative.
See what you want to see. You know?
All right.
Making a callback
Should
to
see
one
it.
of my old players. So every time I pulled us to a new map, it was battle map.
Let's see if it's in tactical mode. Sorry, don't worry about the initiative. I'm trying to see.
Whoa. Initiative.
It is
Uh-oh.
not Eddie. I see the thought that we could see the handout in tactical mode, but I don't believe so. There's map faces, but it's just map 1, and it's this. No movies. We have the pretty little handout. Did y'all see it? Did it not?
No.
Lakeport. So I see in our handouts Crystal Lake, Fano, and Lakeport docks.
It's
Same.
my
There it
bad. I
is. There it
forgot to
is.
hit the check mark. That's my bad. No worries. Okay. So, in this little map, and we're going to really focus on that main center area right now. Don't worry about the inn and such. We're focused on this main area. So as you walk in, that's kind of where number 1 is. You walk in here, you see the tall mast in the center of it, and then all the way across to the right, as you kind of go into the depths of this auditorium, you see in number 2 is that bar, and then the seating all around you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all do upon entering?
I need a
Langston
drink.
goes straight to the bar.
Yeah, they
Fair.
look around, they take it all in, there's a pause for effect, and then she's just like, I need a drink at the same time as Langston. They just head, and it almost like she pauses and like looks at him because for the first time they've agreed on something.
They're on the same page.
Yeah. And she just like puts out her fist for a fist bump, and then they make contact and they discerningly approach the bar together.
Okay, it's right
And Kay,
behind
do
them.
you follow? There
Yeah.
we go. Kay stands there and watches the two of you fist bump and just kind of like a single tear. No.
Yeah.
So all of you kind of just go and nothing brings a group together like a tavern, and you head straight to the bar.
Like alcohol.
Like alcohol.
Well, keep 3 of your best.
And so there's this instant moment where the two tieflings kind of look up at the same time as you kind of just call out, and they look at each other, and then one just kind of is like, I could do it, and the other goes back to like serving the drinks and everything, and you notice immediately the difference in the two demeanors. One seems to be absolutely like efficient, on the spot, like just go, knows everything they're doing. The one that said, no, I can do it, seems to be gentler, a little bit more quieter, and that's the one that approaches you. And by the way, as you go forward and look at these, they look remarkably similar. One might assume twin tieflings even. But
Uh-oh.
uh-oh, my weakness.
I know. My one weakness.
So, how can I help? Welcome. Unfamiliar faces. Are you new?
Just in, really.
Yeah, somewhat.
Not unexpected here at the docks. Can I get you anything?
Yes. First round's on me.
Oh.
Of course, just ale and.
What is your specialty?
Oh, we brew this. Hold on, and he kind of goes off and gives like a small like tasting thing of some of the wine that they seem to have in the back. Like lets you taste it. It's like super nice about it.
Oh my
Flight.
A
god!
flight of wine?
No, look, you know what? This isn't a place. Well, yeah, there's some wine. Let's go for it. All right. And
YOLO. Let's go.
YOLO. Yeah, we'll go for it. Well, we do have these wines if you're here for finer spirits, but we also, majorly just have our usual ale.
She looks at Langston. She goes, "Well, what do you prefer? Do you have an affinity for this type of thing?"
And Langston looks at you almost like shyly or abashed. He's like,
You drink champagne?
yes.
I've never had the pleasure. Do you have any champagne or sparkling, fizzy wine?
It kind of like looks around.
Just
I'm
whatever
sorry,
is your
no.
best wine. We'll just do that.
That's the wine that we have.
Okay.
It's just the
yes,
one.
we'll do that.
Kate kind of raises her hand at this and says, "Do you have any, like the sailors' liquor, rum, whiskey?"
Oh, yes, we have plenty of that. So, rum, wine, and wine?
Wine. I'll have what he's having.
Oh, there's rum?
He, like,
I'll
looks-
do rum.
All right, fine.
okay.
I'll do
Rum,
both.
tum in my tummy.
Now I feel bad
Oh,
that we've been standing here for so long. So I'll
will-
double fist it.
Just, like, this poor tiefling is, like, looking like, I'm gonna get some stuff and hopefully it's the right stuff.
Yeah.
And
Langston
kind of just turns around.
slides over a gold and it's like, please let this be.
So the one tiefling had already like turned around, not having even asked for payment yet, to get you like the drinks that you're asking for. And as you go to slide a gold on the table, like the timing is so perfect as the second tiefling kind of just slides up and grabs it up and says, "Perfect. So, just so you know, the rules are no tabs," and takes it and like turns around and just, doesn't ask for change, doesn't ask for anything like that. Just, doesn't offer change. Just takes it, turns around, and
Proper
pockets it.
business doesn't have it.
The one that pirates run.
Not a
Especially
problem.
for outsiders, I imagine.
And the first tiefling returns. The first tiefling returns with basically like 3 rums, and then kind of a little unsuredly, there's like still like 2 wines as well. And he's
I'll
just
take
like,
that.
great, and you'll be paying in advance, or I mean, it'll be and just starts like counting it up in his head. Me having no frame of reference for how much these things cost says an appropriately cost thing.
Yeah.
I just gave your twin a gold.
Oh yes, of course. I'm so sorry. Yeah, of course. And like it kind of like you see him glance over, but doesn't even check. It's like, yes, of course. And there we go. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I don't believe so.
We're new here, right? So
She just sort of like takes him in and leans across the counter and says, "I don't know, darling. The night is young." And she takes her drinks and begins to go try to find a place for them to sit.
Perfect. And you see him kind of
okay,
like
that is my friend Hex.
Oh, Hex, a pleasure to meet. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm Parable, and that is my twin sister, Paradigm. Kind of gestures over. Welcome to the Bluefin. It's a pleasure to have you, and if you need anything, we're happy to provide. We do offer some staple foods as well, if that's of interest. Nothing fancy, just good fare.
I survive of alcohol, but she, then Ida crawls up on the shoulder, does not. You have
Oh,
raw meat.
we have cured meat. That's a beautiful creature. That's She almost glitters. That's beautiful. And you see, like...
Don't tell her that her head will grow this big.
Oh, she's already, like, sits up a little bit taller and tries to... You see her kind of, like, moving her scales, like, to catch, like, whatever light she can from the space.
See what you've done. See.
Oh,
Is there anyone
She
interesting to talk to here? People of note that we should know as a newcomer to this fine city?
Well, to newcomer to the city, that's honestly a tall order. We mostly have the folks that are here at the Lakeport docks, less so the other sections of the city, if you mean all of Fano proper. But here, we always have the curious characters. If you want people to talk to hear stories, there's no one quite better, as I stall for a second, as Rip and Arlo. They're always here. They are... It kind of points up to like one of the tables into the back corner. That's their usual table. They are here. They've always been here, and they see everything. So they'll, I'm sure, to have plenty of stories for you if that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
No, I like to just get the vibe of the place. And slides over another gold. He goes, any interesting rumors? Things that might be of interest.
I mean, kind of like looks at the gold and is just like, you see him like glance a look at his sister and knows, like, he's like, I better take this, and takes the gold, puts it in his pocket. Give me a direction. I mean, are you interested in... well, okay, if you look over there, and he points to another table a little bit off where you see, like, 3 younger, just younger folk, like, young adults, basically, kind of sitting around in this booth, huddled, over this something in the center of the table. They've been a curious bunch. They've sort of been trying to get a lot of trivia, or however. They're very proud individuals as so far. They've been here discussing and poring over that thing, and it's gotten to the point where they keep asking customers, random people have been just not sure what's happening over there. So that's is that the kind of thing you're looking for? I'm not sure.
Absolutely fascinating. I will go and introduce myself.
Okay. Kind of looks down and be like, do I give this gold back? And he just leaves it and puts it back in his pocket. Apologies if that's not... if you have any questions, anything specific that I can help you with. At this point, kind of like catching on to this, Paradigm comes over, puts a hand on her brother's shoulder, and is just like, can you go attend to those? And like kind of just like puts him off to a task. And so she just stands there. She's like, so, what you need?
Information.
Information? What kind?
Rumors, interesting stories, things that someone knew, and trying to make the best of their opportunities in the family. Would need to know.
Kind of looks at you discerningly for a second. You here to make trouble?
No, but unfortunately, troubles tends to find me. But not in this place. One would hope that in this place.
Not in this place. I'm gonna hold you to that. Okay?
Have my word, and hers too.
All right. People
Provided you
talk
feed
to...
her that cured meat that or your brother was.
Did you pay for it?
How much?
Like, you know that the gold would have covered it as well.
Oh yes, I gave him a gold, and I don't know
right,
how y'all handle tabs.
No
bills.
tabs. I told you this. That's literally first thing I
That's
said.
the only thing we know. This is how they handle tabs. We don't get anything else.
Did Parable say otherwise? I've told him 20 times, no tabs. Okay, listen, I'll get you the thing. And she kind of calls over to one, it seems to be that there's like just one serving girl that's there that seems to be running things down below. And you notice, so where the bar is appended to like the stage behind it. So it's sort of like coming out from the stage that's behind. You have the full auditorium stage, and that's where the bar is. And then to the side of it is these sort of little like curving stairs that go down under the stage. And you see a serving girl kind of come out from there, holding some like 2 trays of foods. And she immediately calls out to her, and she's just like, a tray of cured meats for the little dragonling. And the girl's like, okay. And she kind of calls it like whatever it is, because it's a baby dragon. She's not sure what it is. And so the girl like holding 2 plates already.
Snorts at that.
Is like, yeah, okay. And she runs off to drop those plates off and come back to get to you. Paradigm is like, all right, you want storytellers, you want people that have been here a long time. Rip and Arlo in the back, oldest people that frequent here, they'll see most things. You want people that hear all the stories, that's gonna be Captain Redfall. And she kind of looks over. Not at his usual table. He shows up usually at some point. He'll be here. Over there, and she kind of points to the side of the stage where this is little like tent of like canvases that lean from the ceiling down, but also kind of partition the space in a little bit. That's the kin scrap tent. Big fun thing that everybody loves to do here. There's competitions in there. You can find, I don't know, you could probably bet on some stuff and get some information that way if that's what you're looking for. Not quite sure. And I mean, honestly, best bet, you want to hear stuff? Talk to the people around here. I serve drinks. I make sure we get paid. Not here to listen to stories.
Seems like, you know what? Never mind. Thank you very much.
She kind of gives you this look like, what you gonna say?
Okay, kind of
picks up the trays of food. Oh, go ahead.
Well, so you, Langston, do you head off after Hex to like whatever table that Hex is found and secured for y'all? Okay. So Hex, you go to find a free table. Yeah. Do you find it secluded or do you find it in the main space?
She's like looking for a table where they will have the best view, but is also thinking about a quick exit in case things go horribly wrong. But really she wants to be able to take things in and see when, cool people arrive or when Langston gets here, any of that. So she doesn't want to be so secluded that when Langston comes back, he can't find us readily. But really what she's doing is using this opportunity to take a lap of the room and kind of take in some of the things that were told to the rest of the group, but just through her own understanding of how people are behaving. And I feel like she probably would have discovered this gaming area and become enthused.
Perfect. So you're gonna make a lap around, and in a little bit, as you basically go to find that table, Langston's gonna head your way as well. First, Kay, you are hanging back at the bar.
Yeah. She doesn't make sure that a lot of people are out of earshot or anything, but she kind of leans over and says, "Is Maggie Moon around or going to be?"
Paradigm, who'd already started to turn around and looks back at you. You got beef with Maggie Moon?
Don't know her. I just think she might know someone that I do.
Oh. Alright. And she nods up behind her to the stage behind her. And as you look up, so basically the bar's backdrop rests against the old theater's stage. The base of the stage is inlaid with gold and hand carved in astounding detail. And it shows you perhaps what this theater once was. The stage itself is smooth and waxy, and it's well worn. And the long velvet curtains that are pulled back are torn and stained, and they hang kind of on the sides of the space. And then the back wall, in the very back, you see like years of previous set pieces that have just been displayed in like disarray. Like, this is definitely from like some haunted like wood thing. This is definitely for something way brighter. It's a mishmash of stuff. But below the dazzling bejeweled chandelier that hangs at the center of the stage, behind two gnomes performing a bizarrely violent interpretive dance, there is a small band performing, fronted by a massive woman wearing a signature red dress and a dented golden crown, who seems to be just like belting out a chorus right now, and her voice fills the room in perfect pitch. You turn to focus on this as Paradigm kind of points up behind her. And you recognize that like the spectators of like the tables closest to this space are all humming the melody. You even notice that there are like some diehard fans that are singing along to every word. And Paradigm's like, "That's your girl."
Okay. Does she hang around after performing? Usually.
Yeah, typically. I mean, she takes breaks between sets and stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Of course.
She'll just kind of slap the bar and then walk off and find the table.
Alrighty, so Hex, as you are taking a lap around the room, starting to your left, you see a little area kind of around where the stairs curve down below the stage. To the left of those, like the crates separating things a little bit, you see a little dartboard like alleyway where some people are playing darts. And as you head back down into the auditorium proper, you see on the left somebody kind of pull open a flap of that tent area, and you see like two people bent over a like leaning forward over a barrel, hands clasped in arm wrestling. Yeah. But the thing that you denote the most interestingly is like this table. It's like a makeshift table out of these barrels, but below the table you see two legs like sticking out from one end, and you see that there's like somebody laying under that table. But then the curtain like the canvas falls back in, and that's all you see from within that tent. There is a older gentleman couple sitting kind of in the base. So if you're looking at the map, by the way, around number 8. Okay. Number 8 is like these two older gentlemen who are sitting next to each other. One's like feeding a stray cat that's there. And you continue around. Let me double check one of those things. Okay, yeah. You continue down through the main space, and there is like a section near the back. So basically 6 and 7 over here.
Okay.
Where you see the trio of young adults kind of poring over something, the center of the table, with some free tables in the back. And you do notice like the number 6 right now is also like empty. And some of those tables around there are empty as well.
Yeah. We can sit back between like 6 and 7.
Perfect.
Those areas, yeah.
As you walk up and past like what we're calling table number 7, you notice basically this interesting thing that they're pouring over. You get a little bit of a closer look without standing over them being like, what's this? And you see so you see 3 young people, drinks in hand, focusing on this peculiar oversized tome. It dominates the table between them, and it's the thing that stands out to you. And again, you're walking by, but it seems stitched and restitched innumerable amounts of times. It's like a hodgepodge of books and scrolls and journals. It's this weird thing. Like, it's a book, but it's a lot. Whatever that is, it's a lot.
What do they seem to be talking about as I'm walking by?
They are, like, poring over it, it seems. They're all three of them leaning forward, reading through the thing, pointing it out, and being, like, discussing in heated discussions, like, oh, this, but it says this over here, and, like, you're not able to capture a subject matter, but you can tell that they're discussing the book.
She is going to, I don't know if this makes sense, but I think what she's gonna do is pull a seed off of her witch's turn, and try to sort of like hide it, like somewhere by the table, so that she can listen in on what they're talking about.
Okay. Are you kind of like dropping it and like, oh, oops, and like kicking it over closer to like?
Yeah, I think she would probably. I don't think she could be like, "Oops, I dropped this on the table next to the book." You know what I mean? That's stupid. But I do think she just kind of like rolls it under the table so that she has like a view of their feet and everything, and can hear what they're talking about.
I'm gonna do the thing where I say the thing that I have associated in my brain for Pathfinder, and you tell me what it is in D&D.
Sure.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Same.
It is sleight of hand? Fuck yes. I knew
it's
that.
It's actually thievery in Pathfinder.
Shh. Don't make me go over there, Waffles.
I rolled a natty 19, and I think my sleight of hand is 3, so 22.
Perfect. Then you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody blinks.
Nice. So she can't just hear it. She basically sits with her side to the table, so that she can kind of like look in the other direction, because her eyes go black when she's looking through. Like she has to glance out. Yeah, she doesn't want to just be like staring at the table and then have her eyes frost over. That's crazy and strange.
What?
Yeah.
That would be wild. So you do that. Langston, you are not far behind, because by the time Hex kind of makes this long pass around the space and heads to the table, do you make a direct beeline, or do you kind of go around the space as well?
I'm probably making a beeline because I have food for Ida, and I imagine Ida is like trying to like nom over my shoulder, and I'm like,
Ida's not like waiting, basically. Like she hops from your shoulder down your arm, and is she just trying to eat from the plate as you're walking and is getting annoyed that it's moving. She kind of just like snaps, and every time the plate moves, she nips at your like wrist, being like, can it stop moving, please?
I'm going to bite you. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to bite you. See how you like it.
So you make a beeline straight to the table, and
hopefully there's no one
Hex.
who speaks Draconic here and understands what I'm saying.
Well, nobody knows. And Hex, are you already with like glazed over?
Yeah, so I think it's the funniest if you come and the two of you are like bickering in your way, and then you just you get to the table, and Hex is like kind of like nodding along to the music a little bit, and then you watch as she turns this way, and her eyes are this like blackish bloody color, just completely orbed over, and she like reaches forward on the table, sort of like trying to find one of her cups, and you watch as she like grasps the wine and then pulls it in and drinks it, and then she kind of like tilts her, she like blinks and her eyes go back to normal, and she looks at you and she goes, "Oh, you're here."
We're doing the creepy thing again.
Yeah, that's just kind of me. Is that a deal breaker? She says, and like winks and drinks her wine.
No, I live with a dragon who is biting at me as I bring her fucking food.
At this point, like, they're already, Ida's just head in the food, not waiting for anything.
I forgot that was a that your face has like the thing on it, and so I was like, it went away, and then it came back, and I got
disappeared.
Yeah, for the podcast audience.
And Kay, you're not far behind as well. But Hex, you let me know when you have enough time to make me a perception check with advantage to listen in on some of those things.
She will do that right now.
Right now.
Okay, so that's 12 plus. Okay, so 14 altogether.
14 altogether. Okay, so you kind of start listening in at the, like, an awkward point in the conversation. So it takes you a second to understand, like, what they're actually talking about. So I want to check first ahead of time, how long are you planning to listen in?
She's gonna basically, I guess before she does this, she'll kind of say, it looks like those folks over there are doing something a bit interesting. Mind covering for me as I listen in?
Oh, then my attention is going to go towards them too.
Yeah,
because
I
can't help myself.
Yeah, she reaches out and she grabs your hand. She goes, don't be so obvious. Be cool.
Okay, it's probably slightly more obvious.
Yeah.
Of course I'm cool.
Okay, you walk up as Hex is like holding Langston's hand and Ida is just chomping away at, like, in the messiest way. And Ida, by the way, a bright, brilliant blue little baby dragon is sitting in the center of this table. Cool, just saying, like, chomping away. You made for an interesting bunch.
Her.
Inconspicuous. Yeah. So she, her eyes frost over again, and she is gonna listen in.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, as Kay walks up on this and them holding hands, Kay's gonna go, like, she like stops for a second, looks, gives a small little nod, and then goes and like plops down beside Ida, grabs the piece of meat, and says, "Guess it's you and me."
You try to grab a piece of meat from Ida's plate?
Heck yeah.
Can't just casually say that. All right. Roll initiative. No, okay.
Sleight of hand.
Kay mimics the style of eating as well.
I do want you to roll sleight of hand, honestly.
Okay. Do I see them attempting to, like, start to stop me? Like,
so
Kay's not like whoosh, like trying to snatch it, but they're reaching like it's a normal dinner table, not thinking Ida's gonna stop them.
Okay.
Ooh.
So then, as you go to, like, reach just casually, you see Ida like pick their head up like lightning fast in response, and just kind of like their mouth opens and like this sort of like their tail starts like swishing, like.
Kay like shrugs for a
Their
second.
wings go.
Yeah, Kay like shrugs for a second and it's like, I'll get some more if we need more.
Gotta compliment her first.
You look like you're enjoying the food.
Just kind of like shuffles over so that their wings and like body like are between you and the plate, and they kind of like shift it closer, like to a different part of the table. Just.
All right. Kay then. Okay. I got you, Ida. All right. Kay then goes up to the bar and orders a larger tray of meat.
Okay. So anyways, as this is happening,
that will turn out absolutely perfectly, will it?
So your eyes glaze over once more, Hex, as you listen in. We'll keep that same roll, and you hear them kind of like one. And so as you looked closer, by the way, you did see there basically seemed to be two humans and an elf there. And oops, they are talking, and they're just like, well, if there's the two enormous chains that are tethering the docks to the rest of the city, there has to be a drop-off, and it's not there. And then the next one's just like, no, but there's not a drop-off. There's the ledge that reaches to the mainland, and it's not a free-floating city. And they're just like discussing this thing, and they're like, well, then what are the gemstones coming in from? What are those things here for? If they're not part of this, then what is it? And they're just like argumentatively, like academically discussing, like, for some very niche set of listeners right now, I will explain this as, you know, when like a bunch of physicists get together to discuss some kind of like theory, and it's just, yeah, it's this very heated academic discussion about the city, sounds like.
Yeah. She will kind of like listen in, but is basically, when it tapers off, since she can't interject or anything, you know, she'll come back to herself and sort of, look over at, Kay and see the interaction between the food and everything. And she goes, "You're braver than I thought."
Well, so Kay has gotten up to go get more food.
Just kidding. Kay.
And as Kay, you go back to the bar and kind of pass, like, you go straight through the middle of the tavern and pass by table number 8, on our little mini map, if you will. You do kind of have, I'm trying to flip pages like under my microphone without hitting the microphone. That's what's happening right now. You see like it's the table with the two like older men, and there's the one that was feeding like a little stray cat like under the table, scraps from their table. And as you pass by, having come from the table where y'all were sitting, he goes, excuse me, do you have a second? I'm just very curious.
They stop, but don't make a move towards the table. About?
Oh, I'm just that brilliant colored forgive me, thing on the table there. What is that? Is that yours? Is that your pet?
No.
Kind of like seeing you like not looking to converse. He goes, sorry to interrupt. No, don't mind me. Just continue. Sorry.
Okay, takes like one more step, stops for a second, and says, "That one's the really dressed up gentleman."
Oh, with the matching blue hair.
Yes.
Oh, that's adorable. Darling, it kind of turns to his friend. It's like, what if I dyed my hair to match the cat's? and the other guy's like, no. And like they kind of like turn to like this little conversation amongst themselves. Do you stay with them or do you go back to the party?
Keeps going and goes back to the party.
Okay. So you order another larger plate of meat and return to the party.
Yep.
Well, I suppose the question on my mind, at least, is where do we start? We need a captain to take us across the sea. Is there anything else we wanted to do while we're here?
Not me
Bartender
forgetting
said there
Mayfire.
was a captain of some sort.
Was with you, by the way. My total bad. I forgot there's an NPC here.
Maybe she went with Locke. Who knows?
No. I meant to do that. Mayfire has been with y'all this whole time, and when you headed to the bar, when you entered this place, she was like, I'm going to go secure lodgings for the night, and I'll be back if you can keep your eyes for a captain. And kind of just heads off. So you've been alone this whole time for a little bit.
Okay, cool. So when Langston says that they mentioned a captain after she'd like walked away from the bar.
Redfall, I think?
Redfall, yes. As
And are they
Kay walks
here?
back up.
you know how to identify Captain Redfall by sight?
No, obviously not. You asked, and did they point him out to you or what?
No,
The
just
barkeep
mentions
did
the name.
say they're not there yet, but they're
Yeah, they
usually
said they're
here.
not there yet. Yeah,
And she did
but
point,
I just wasn't there for that.
She pointed to the table that he usually sits at, so not at his normal table, and probably come back later.
And she pointed around the area where y'all are sitting right now.
Okay.
Like this
Oh,
kind of
perfect.
corner.
Great. Well, so what do you exactly? While we have our time away from our new friend and we're waiting for Langston as well, what exactly are we hoping to get out of this?
Lock, not Langston.
Langston?
Locked. I'm sorry. You're
I
all
was like,
the
I'm
same.
sitting at the table. I was like,
Yeah,
While
I'm
we're
sorry.
waiting
I
for
meant
you.
locked.
While we're waiting
for
for
you
Langston
to
to
be
get
here.
back.
I was here the whole time. Yeah. Sorry, no. Lock is
no.
what I meant.
That's fine.
As y'all are sitting back here, by the way, another thing that catches y'all's eye, like as you're sitting kind of by the wall, is you do notice a bunch of posters plastered around the tavern as well. And like you look at one that's not far from you, and you do see basically posters promoting the band Maggie and the Strays. When you looked, Kay, at the stage, you didn't recognize anybody of the band or anything like that. But you do recognize the Strays from this signage as what the group that you had previously encountered were called. When you talked to Dalmas, he said they were the Strays.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
So-
The people we chased.
Yes, the people
Yeah.
you chased.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
So, at this point, she's sort of like wondering what they should, like, how best they should use their time while they wait for folks to arrive. But she catches sight of one of those posters, and she says, "Do you think wasn't that Maggie Moon a performer of some kind?"
Yeah, she's right up there. Kind of points back to the big stage.
Do you think there's any reason we should make an ally of her? Maybe it's too soon for that sort of thing.
Yeah, not particularly, but I do have plans to speak with her, so we can decide if there is a
Oh.
reason.
What kind of conversation are you hoping to have?
I was told by those that we caught that day that she would have information of people around Fana, and I am looking for someone, so.
I have to clarify this because it's cracking me up. That was earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like
Yeah.
yesterday or something. You're okay.
No.
Yeah. Which is why it's so funny. It's like I wrote a chat. Ah, yes, let's
Yeah.
make allies with the person whose crew I beat up this
I
morning.
mean, that's how it works, right? If you beat up the crew, you're
I mean-
clearly stronger, so.
And
Yeah, that means that
technically,
you are the new crew boss.
Yeah.
technically, their conversation about what to do with the person that they caught revolved around not making an enemy of her because she might be a useful ally. So it's not like it's out of total nowhere.
No, for sure. I want you
yeah.
all to absolutely please pursue this in every way.
And Todd.
Yes, 'cause
Uh,
nothing
Chad
bad-
agrees. Chad agrees it's
Yep.
a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
It's a
down.
great idea.
It's gonna happen, so. Not the allyship, but the conversation, at least.
Oh, okay.
So, who are you looking for, if you don't mind me asking?
She hesitates a moment, probably longer than she's hesitated thus far, but you get kind of this like almost cold shoulder feel for a second. She says, "I do mind for now, but if we stay together a little longer, then I'll share."
Keep your
Fair
secrets.
enough.
Family, how about that?
I'm here looking for
Family is
too.
complicated. I understand.
Yes, I I did ask you about your family earlier, Langston, and we got a little distracted. And are they the kind of people who taught you to enjoy fine wine? She says as she, drinks some more of hers.
Or champagne.
Yes. They also taught me manners.
I thought I was being perfectly well-mannered asking you about your life. Isn't conversation supposed to be like tennis? You ask the other person questions, and they pass the ball back.
What is tennis?
It's sort of a yuppie game that I've never been into, but I hear people you might know more about.
Is that like diamond trading?
It's pronounced
Sure.
tennis in my parts.
Tennis.
This is great. Please, I
My
want to hear
family's
all about
alive.
Denise.
They're wonderful. But they did not necessarily agree with all of my decisions.
Well, alive is good. That's a good start.
What about your family?
I am out here looking for them. If you want to know.
I figured it was polite to ask.
Well, they came out this way, I'm told, but family is...
Excuse me.
Sorry?
I said, why would they come to this? No, to each their own.
She laughs and she says, I've given up on trying to understand why my family did the things that they did. They started off by selling me to an old woman in the woods, so not a great start.
That
Hex, make a
sounds
perception
like
check for me.
a fun
Sorry?
bunch of people.
Make a perception check for me. And Kay, would you like to make, as you hear this for the first time, are you trying to kind of guard your reactions or your expressions?
No, Kay was actually going to respond with how much. And it's very just openly blunt, as if Kay, thus far, the more Kay opens up, it's showing that she has grown up in a place where everyone just kind of speaks their mind, and you're open with everyone.
Yeah, and she kind of pauses and takes that in, and she says, not everything is paid for in coin.
Understood.
Langston nods like he understands. He does not.
As you guys are having this conversation and just kind of drinking, taking it in, and honestly kind of just resting in a bit of normalcy for the first time in a little bit since you arrived in Fano.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you there. Just my brain, a bit of normalcy, talking about being sold off to a woman in the woods and your parents being alive. And...
What's the big deal? A bit of normalcy. So you hear kind of coming up, you notice Langston, somebody kind of coming to approach you, or at least approach the table. And from where you're sitting, it seems to be they're headed in your direction. And it's this older gentleman who's just pardon me, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so curious. This is your magnificent creature, right?
Immediately, Ida looks at him and said, mine.
So Ida for the first time looks up from the food.
Yeah, I would never claim to own a creature as magnificent as that. And he repeats this immediately after in Draconic to make sure that she understands what he just said.
Oh, I know. I have some. Well, I suppose Arlo would never let me actually say they're ours, but they're ours. I know how it goes. I have these cats, and I know how they go. You know, they really run the place, don't you?
Compared to a cat?
I had to come see it a little bit closer. Do you mind if I can it? Is it friendly? Can I say hello?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
okay.
You could try. Ask
No,
her politely, and she will probably only bite 2 of your fingers off.
It kind of looks at his hand like, well, no, I do have a way with. If you don't mind, and he kind of puts a hand in his pocket and takes it out and lets his hand get like sniffed, almost like you would introduce to a dog. Like if anybody has polite dog manners, reaches very, very cautiously to go and let like Ida sniff, or like not, he's not putting fingers first. He's kind of being really careful, but he's kind of doing this like back of the hand smell. Ida instinctually goes to like snap as it approaches the food, but before she does, you see her kind of put her head up and go and kind of shuffles away from the plate towards the hand, but is cautious and is kind of like looking at them. But you notice this is interesting behavior because it's not what it usually is like.
And you just hear Langston and Dracana go, what?
Kind of like ducks forward, kind of like looking at the hand, kind of curiously, and this older gentleman's just like, see, the trick is to always have a little bit of food. And he opens his palm to show that there is like this kind of minced, like something like meat or otherwise like treats basically. That's in recognizing Kay. This is the same gentleman that you spoke to before. It's probably what he was feeding the cat under the table with. And he holds his hand out, like palm out, and carefully starts like sprinkles some on the table first, and then like lets some in his hand. And Ida like goes for the one on the table first and kind of approaches gently. But you know, Ida does not actually go to the hand, despite it all. Like, you know what I mean? She eats what's on the table, but doesn't.
I'm proud of a creature for all of that.
Yeah, no, she's not doing that. But she will look, and then you see her kind of expectantly, like, kind of like stand up, flap her wings, is like, "Come on, give me the rest of it." And like this old man is just fascinated. Like, he introduced himself to a table of strangers, does not seem to care, and is just here for this like interesting creature. And he's like, "Oh, like, I see. She just doesn't want to eat from the hand. I understand the caution." And then he just like drops the rest of it on the table like by her, and it's just like, "Well, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say hello to a beautiful creature. I've never seen one like this before. What is she?" Kind of turns to you, Langston.
She is a dragon.
Do you whisper this to them?
Yes.
And they're just like, I'm sorry, what was that? My ears are not what they used to be. What was that? It's loud in here.
I grab his head, I bring him close to me, and I say, and I'm very prepared if he repeats it out loud
Yes.
to just cover his mouth. It is like in the same sort of like.
Kind of seeing this from across the table, you hear like a shuffle of a chair as another old man is like getting up from the table from before and kind of like come over to intervene with like whatever's happening right now. And as you kind of like untangle, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, really?" And like the older man comes up and he's just like, "What's Rip? Are you all right? What's going on here?" The Rip person who's he's talking to is like, "Oh, no, dear, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I was just, I was being told, it's," kind of looks at you, nothing. No, don't worry about it, dear. Don't worry." And he kind of just like turns to you. He's like, they're shuffling back to the table, but he looks back and he's like, "Really? Well, you always see the curious things. Arlo, you won't believe what I just learned." And they're like going back to the table together, kind of like arm in arm. Like you can tell that they're a couple. And they head back to their table, talking like maybe a little too loudly for your comfort, but like they're trying to like, talk amongst themselves. They're not trying to showcase it to the world, but
It's the
they're
latest
open.
gossip.
Yes, absolutely. And they
Fun.
interest.
Something interesting, Oh. Ida. What's all that about?
She like looks up from the scraps that she's been eating, and she just looks at you like, "What is food?" At this point, she's like basically done with most of the food, and with a nice full belly of different types of meats, it's kind of going back up to you. And I have a question. What did you do with the bracelet that a certain Fawn Lee gave you? Are you wearing it,
I'm
or did you tuck it away?
absolutely wearing that.
Okay. So she goes back to basically like chilling with you instead of on your shoulder. She's like on the table between your arm, and she's just lazily like playing and trying to get the bracelet off of your wrist, but kind of like a cat does, but like just kind of like swatting at it.
This is not part of your hoard. This one is mine.
You see her just like clacking at it, like at the clasp of it.
Have you ever
I think it's
had?
harmless.
And he looks over at her. Perhaps a dog or a cat. Perhaps a toddler or a small child.
And is this specifically to Hex or K, or to both? Really?
Yeah, this is to them. I am like
Okay.
kind of like pushing her over to the side, just letting her sort of bat at the bracelet, taking whatever scratches.
Yeah.
Not my own, but younger family, siblings, yes. They're annoying.
It's always been me, just me, and Granny Grimtooth, but she is worse than any cat.
And he says, imagine, if you will, for just a moment, a child with a shitty diaper. But the diaper
Rather
is
not.
always shitty. And then he just looks over at Ida and he's like,
Oh, come now. It cannot be all that bad.
looks at the blood trickling down
Yeah.
his arms like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. So as you like show your arm, you look down, like she sort of like puts her arm out, and you see various like runic tattoos that have all seemed to like bleed from those runic tattoos at times, and are like scarred over a bunch of times over. And she says, I could teach you how to use that to your advantage one day if you like.
This must be the creepy thing again. But thank you, I think.
Throughout all of this, Hex,
Mm-hmm.
can you make me a con save?
Uh-oh. That's not good what I rolled there. Let's see. That's a 10.
Okay. So, throughout... Put it this way. You've been in Fano for the major part of a day at this point. But it's been busy. There's been a chase through the streets. There's been some, going through shopping afterwards and heading to the bookstore and a huge fight. And, listen, it's been a lot. It's understandable. But over the time, and it's maybe just because now that you've been sitting here for a little bit and just drinking, you recognize that, man, your nose and your sinuses have been kind of stuffy recently. And they've definitely been it's just an odd thing. So, like, I'd say around this point where you've actually just sat down with your drinks and are starting to relax, that you're noticing that, like, you're not 100%. Like,
Yeah.
like maybe the oncoming cold or something like that. You're just not 100%.
Do any of you all feel stuffy?
None of the rest of you do.
No.
Like this place is stuffy, because it certainly is not.
No, just... I don't know whether it's when we walked in here or something, but I just feel... I feel like there's a cat suddenly in my face. Sorry.
What?
Like something is stalking me. No, I feel...
It's not today.
And she sort of like breathes in and sniffles a little bit and then sneezes immediately.
Yep. But anyways.
That's probably fine.
Are you okay?
I just feel... I mean, I hate to start off an adventure sick, but I don't feel right. Like a cold or something?
Just a little off.
All
And at this point, Mayfire kind of, you see her kind of come down the steps from inside the space, so not from the entrance that y'all entered to, but seems to be this like adjacent building right next door that has like a connecting door to the tavern. So basically, the connecting steps between where it says like the inn and the main floor is where she kind of comes back in from, and she looks around for a quick second and finds y'all and kind of just makes a beeline for your table, recognizes there's not enough chairs, and kind of looks over, just grabs one of the ones from the other table and joins you all. So have you found a captain? Have you asked around?
We're waiting for him, apparently. He shows up here, usually.
Yeah, there's a Captain Redwall that shows up here, and whether he's our captain or not, he would be the lead giver.
Redwall, have you asked around about him to know if he could make the journey? It's not going to be an easy one.
Nope, I'll ask him.
I see. Okay, and is he a trustworthy captain?
Easy here. Honestly.
I think she kind of like leans forward and like whispers, "Do you understand how dangerous this journey is? We need to secure somebody safe. Somebody that could make this journey, not just anybody."
I understand not just anybody. And he leans close to her and he goes, "The only people who would make a decision that is this dangerous, based on what you've been telling me, is someone incredibly unwise.
Or someone in great need."
I mean, I suppose. Well, I'll at the very least start asking around and see what I can learn about him. And just kind of like gets back up with like a little bit of a sigh and seems to just. She seems like antsy. Like she doesn't want to just sit around. And so she'll start like kind of circulating the tavern. You see her kind of
before she heads off. She goes, "Do people get sick when they're here for the first time? Is that like?"
She kind of looks at you curiously. "You're not feeling well?"
"No. I'm stuffy and scratchy, and I guess I hadn't really noticed it till we sat down."
Sounds a bit like an allergic reaction. Did you eat something?
"You." And she looks at Langston. And then she looks at the wine. She says, "What's wrong with this? Is this a wine
I don't
thing?"
know. I've been drinking it.
And like Langston's been drinking the same wine that you have.
You allergic to animals?
Are you allergic to being alive?
Maybe you're allergic to fun.
Ooh,
And
yes. I've heard of this. This is a curse.
She sort of like looks between the two of them and then looks at Ida and she says, "Am I allergic to dragons?"
Ida looks offended immediately.
I don't think so, because it would have happened sooner, right? But that gentleman does have cat all over him.
Do I like have a sense of the only new things that have been introduced to this scenario are the wine and the rum.
Right. So you're. Do you want to make like just a general intelligence check for me?
Yeah. Oh, it's not good. All right. I'm actually quite intelligent. So that 7 turns into an 11.
There we go. And the check, when it's like flat intelligence, it's a little bit different DCs. So like, it's yes, in the immediate moment, the new things have been the wine you've ingested, and I guess that person that came over, but it wasn't like enough. You don't think it's the person because they were barely like near you.
Yeah.
And you're able to kind of figure like there hasn't been that much different since you've gone here in particular, and you did feel a little bit stuffy before. It's just not something you paid attention to.
Yeah.
So you're more thinking that it's since you arrived in Fano.
Yeah, there's something here that I'm physically objecting to. Maybe the algae? Yeah. She takes out, because she like collected, I think, some of it from the cat kill.
Yes, you have a little bit of merqual, yeah.
Yeah, and she... Sorry. Yeah, she...
Okay.
We can come back to this. Sorry.
We're in character.
Yes.
This is some excellent work. Magnificent.
I gave Hex allergies to excuse Anne Richmond's COVID.
Yeah, it's amazing. She like takes out the little vial that she had put the merquois algae in and like looks at it. And she is just gonna like pocket it, and she says, she's gonna say, "Can somebody else hold on to this for a little bit? We'll just see."
Mayfire, who had paused to like talk to you when you asked her about this, sees you pull out the little vial, and she looks kind of curious, and she's just like, is that a concern? I'll hold on to it for you if you need.
She like squints.
And you see like Mayfire looks confused.
Yeah. She says, "I picked it up off of the creature that we dealt with at the docks earlier. I'm curious."
It's quite abundant here.
Well, sure. If you want to hold on to it, let's just see if that improves things. And she hands it off to her.
Okay. And you see Mayfire, like, she doesn't look at it particularly long or anything. She's just, like, looking more, like, a little confused at you as to, like, because she was there at the docks when, like, she's who you saved at the time. And I'm assuming she probably saw you take some of this sample. And she just kind of looks a little confused, but she just, like, puts it in her dress pocket and goes off to... She seems headed to the bar first. She's going to be kind of meandering around the space, trying to talk to people. And at this point, you do, like, hear a break in the sets as Maggie finishes a set of songs and to, like, the cheers of some of the diehard fans that sit closer to the stage. And this whole time, by the way, as like, the music changes and the band kind of switches out to, like, somebody just holding the fort down basically for atmosphere and not the main band. There is a distinct, like, kind of shift in it, and you maybe didn't realize how much Maggie's perfect voice and perfect pitch and beautiful music was really kind of like adding to your mood and relaxation here. But now she seems to be taking a break.
Well, this looks like my chance to speak to her.
Lady Knox came.
Thank you. And Kay will get up and head to where Maggie has decided to sit.
And you see her kind of basically like staying on stage. And if you look at like number 3, there's like one little table in the corner, and it seems to be that she's like swept herself over there and is like draping herself on a chair as like some of the other people run to the bar and get her some drinks and things like that. And there are still her little band and her little group around her, fending some of the more diehard fans away. So you go to approach, and one of the people you saw that was like playing the drums or something in the back kind of steps in front of you and is like, "Hey, what's your purpose?"
She breathes in slowly, deeply, thinking for half a second, and says, "Was pointed here by some of her people."
Kind of looks like you see his brow furrow. Like you and Kay would remember like Dallas's name if that's who you're looking for, or something like that.
Okay, yeah. If his brow furrows, she'll say, Dallas.
Dallas.
Sorry.
Like there's that furrow brow still, the confusion, but he's like, Dallas. All right. Kind of like looks back over. He's like, "Hey Maggie, Dallas sent this one." Look just real confused. And Maggie like looks around and like looks at you with interest as she kind of like sits up a little bit and waves you in. Lets you pass. Well, hello. And you see as you approach, by the way, Maggie, like even sitting down, you can tell this woman standing is 8 feet tall. She is beautiful and massive and in a stunning red dress.
Hi. Okay, I'll sit down.
So, Dallas sent you? Do I have you to thank for my dear strays getting so beat up?
Not particularly. They have themselves to thank, honestly, for interfering in a conversation on the docks. But you have him to thank for me being here and for finding out about you, I guess. And she gives something between a sarcastic and a like fully meaningful smile.
And you see, and by the way, as I mentioned before, like Maggie Moon is also wearing this little crown, if you will, kind of to match the outfit, and you can tell she cares very much about her appearance. But you see a sort of almost vicious smile returned to you as she's just like, "Well, then I guess I should be very thankful. How can I help you?"
Well, Dallas told me that if anybody knew the people around here, people that came through, it would be you.
Well, Dallas is a good one to know where a good source of information is, but I don't see a reason why I should help you.
Name a reason, and I may be able to give it to you.
Well, you see, I understand that my lovely little strays were rude to you, interrupting a conversation, you say? You know, I do so apologize for that interruption. However, perhaps you could return what they were trying to obtain to me? That would make things fair.
And what's that?
She kind of gives you like a little flash of a knowing smile, and she's like, you know. And she's referring to what they stole off of Fawn.
Yeah, for sure. You mean the book that the bookkeeper, the bookshop person, was carrying?
Kind of just waves her hand, like non-committal, but like at the same time, like like she's not saying no.
Yeah. Kay masked that. It does the same exact. Well, we gave it back to the person that owns the book.
That's unfortunate. And I have a quick question. Hex and Langston, are y'all watching this? Are you staying at the table, but kind of keeping an eye?
Yeah, Hex
You would
is...
act.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Oh.
no, you.
I just realized that I unmuted myself in the wrong place. Yeah, Hex is definitely watching from where she is because they know that Maggie Moon is potentially very dangerous. So yeah, she's just keeping an eye.
Honestly,
and Langston?
I think Langston would be carousing. Honestly, he's getting in on the bar. He's got a fed
Okay.
dragon who is finally calmed the fuck down. And I think this is a great time to, meet the patrons. He's a sociable character. He's an extrovert. He's trying to get out here and see who's who.
All right. So you said at the bar or anywhere else in particular?
I am wandering.
Beautiful.
Anywhere that they don't say I can't go. And maybe the places they say I can't go, Langston is good.
Yep. So, Hex, keeping a watchful eye, can you make me a perception check?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So you're watching carefully, Kay, at this table with Maggie Moon in the far back of the stage, and you're basically looking all the way across the entirety of this space right now. So it's not hard for you to, out of the corner of your eye, notice Mayfire. Also noticing that Kay is headed to, had gone to Maggie Moon, and you see her kind of position herself from wherever she was towards the bar again, and she seems to also be keeping an eye on whatever's happening over there. And so Maggie kind of looks at you. That's unfortunate. But I understand things happen, and that's just is what it is, isn't it? Well, I have a good gig here, and aside from that little hiccup, I'm quite content. I think you're the one that's asking for something, so perhaps you can tell me what you can offer to me. And we can strike up a deal, but if you don't have anything to offer, I could do with a little vocal rest.
Meaning?
Meaning you could leave.
See, Waffles thought she was saying that I would go sing for her. I was like, that's probably not happening either. So.
No, she means she doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, Kay sits there for a second and says, does coin interest you?
A coin? No. Multiple coins, perhaps.
Kay will put down 10 gold on her side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring her arm up in an arm wrestling position.
She raises an eyebrow. You're proposing a round of kin scrub.
Yes. I win. I get information. You win. You get the coin.
She kind of looks you up and down. Because you are also a buff lady.
Yup.
Which might I just denote this corner, this table right now, hot.
Fan art,
because,
me, please. Let's go.
Oh my god, y'all. Listen, Maggie Moon, okay? Maggie Moon right now.
This is why Langston walked away. He's like, there's too much muscle bay over here. I can't
but listen
stay
to this,
undistracted.
y'all. The description of Maggie Moon is a towering 8-foot tall and built like a stone quarry. And then look at Kay's art. I need this fan art. Somebody please help me. I need this.
Let's go.
The one, so like you're not alone at this table, right? There's a couple of what seem to be the strays or the band kind of hanging out, some leaning up at the wall behind Maggie and such. And at the mention of like a kin scrap match, there is a little bit of like excitement like ripple through, and you denote this. And before Maggie can even really like speak up, there seems to be like at the mention of like kin scrap, she asked you like, oh, are you proposing a match of kin scrap? And some of the strays are like whispered amongst themselves, and unfortunately there was one that was just like loud enough that one of the fans that was trying to like, there's like two basically bouncers, right, keeping people away from the table, overheard kin scrap. And so at this point you kind of notice it like a ripple through the room where everyone's murmuring that there is a kin scrap like proposal on the table with none other than Maggie Moon. And Hex, it's like it's funny to see it go through the room. So literally it starts to spread. And Langston, from where you're standing, rounding around the room, it hits you, and you hear like whispers of like Maggie Moon challenge to kin scrap match, things like that. And then it hits you, Hex, as you get to your corner of the room. Maggie Moon kin scrap, like it's like this whisper network.
Is there gambling happening? Is this like, you know, off the book sort of things going on? Because this is my one vice.
Dun, dun, dun. There's this suspense, but unfortunately, amazing. Do you hype up who the contender is? Everybody knows who Maggie Moon is.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay, amazing. I want a, what is it going to be? Like diplomacy? What is this?
Persuasion?
Yes, that's the one. Persuasion. Make me a persuasion check with advantage, because it is not hard here. And unfortunately with Maggie, and you see this kind of it's a flash across her face, but as she recognizes the second that it went beyond this table, that there was no backing down, and my Pathfinder is showing. And you see this like slight like annoyance on her face before it comes right back up, and she's just like, well, I guess a match of kin scrap it is. Shall we? And she glances down at the 10 gold, like, you're to take that and bring it to the kin scrap tent, it seems to be. Like, she's going to a very specific area. What did you roll, Langston?
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, amazing. So with the dirty 20, there is as you get up from the table, the two of you, to head towards right around the corner, number 10, the kin scrap tent, there is the murmur has become a raucous like roar. As Langston, literally the first person you turn to is already looking at you like, yes, like, what's up? And all you have to say is like a line about Kay, and tell me what do you say about the contender? Like, who is facing right now?
Have you ever seen A Knight's Tale by chance?
Yes! Yes! One of my favorite movies.
Let's go.
I am legit doing the Knight's Tale things. I'm like, ladies, ladies, and gentlemen of all ages, there is a contender unlike that you have ever seen. there is the one, the only Kay, the gauntleted warrior, the beast of all beasts, that one who cannot be faded. The pink-haired
so
assassin,
happy.
the muscle that cannot be blasted.
Oh,
Kay is here to destroy your hero. I feel bad for all you unfortunate souls who ever wish to bet against her.
and
But
this
there must always be bets against her. Place your...
it doesn't. It literally, as soon as you say like I feel bad, like then the diehard fans of Maggie Moon like come up in arms, and now there's just this basically like back and forth happening, and the bets start. Hex, you can get in on this. It's happening. It's getting the attention of everybody.
Yeah, she'll just start taking down folks bets and basically trying to goad the Maggie Moon fans into. She'll like play the opposite, because the more people bet against us, the more we win. And she goes, I don't know, I've seen her in a fight. She's not that interesting. Who's gonna beat Maggie Moon? Who's gonna beat the titan of 8 foot tall and a stage nary as wide as she's tall? I don't know. Sorry.
I love it. No, I
getting
adore it.
Yeah.
So you get up from your table as well. Go head up, basically like pair up with Langston, and you guys are basically hedging your bets. You're the Maggie Moon.
Yeah.
Langston is for Kay. And you start collecting the money and basically doing this near the middle of the space. As this is happening, and Kay and Maggie Moon head over to the tents. I flip my page back because I lost it. Hold on, sorry.
How much money are we putting down on this, Langston?
It's a great question, Langston.
Okay, hold on. See, so I got to make sure that Syrup here has good odds, because I'm just trying to see what kind of money I'm gonna make off this 20 gold I'm thinking about dropping.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna be honest, Waffles, you're my numbers person. You tell me what's happening here.
I think it usually depends on like if people know of other people and such.
Like Maggie Moon is
no one knows you. That's smart.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking.
And so I think
I hyped you up just enough to get some more bets on you.
Heck yeah.
But not enough to actually think that you were going.
Yeah.
My thought is that with the 20 persuasion check, that Langston could probably get away with like 1 to 3 odds. Basically, you would triple your money if we won, kind of thing. I think that's fair. It could probably go higher, but I think that's easy enough to say fair.
Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. Okay, those are the odds. So what you decide, just write it down to me what you're putting in here. Send it in chat. Place your bets.
I'm gonna put 20 gold in there on.
Chat, what kind of bets you put down? You putting it on?
Chat.
Are you putting it on Kay? Are you putting it on Big Step on Me, Mommy?
We can't
Step on Me, Mommy, Maggie Moon.
We can't hedge our bets, can we? We can't like bet on both, right?
I mean,
that is dishonorable.
It's dishonorable. I will say, for our story's sake. I mean, maybe would Hex and Langston do that? Probably, but you know what? For our story's sake, no. Y'all, everything on K with great, amazing, 1,000 bits on K. Oh, ooh, y'all, you betting bits? I'm into this. And if somebody wants to start a poll, let's go. Let's do this. Okay.
We do not promote gambling on Twitch.
20 gold on K for me.
Okay. Write that down in our chat. In the northeast corner of the Bluefin, several brightly colored sections of canvas cordon off a small area separate from the rest of the tavern. Lanterns hung along the inside of this room cast flickering light along walls draped with banners, colors, and flags representing the towns surrounding Crystal Lake. Now there's a large crowd that gathers here in the Kinscrap room to enjoy the spectacle. There are several unusual red woven rugs covering a short wooden riser in the center of the room. And on that riser sits a large wooden table where two competitors square off. Maggie Moon and Kay, the gauntleted warrior. Underneath the table, there's a gnome named Lorafina, who's lying down with her pointy shoes sticking out of one end. Her job, as explained to UK, is to watch for disqualifying table grabs, magical tomfoolery, or any untoward behavior. There's a bearded orc named Pennigan, who's refereeing the match. And standing next to the table, he stands there holding a cone shell, which he will blow into to signal the start of the match. However, before we do, the 10 gold is transferred to this table, and Maggie Moon smiles and says, I think we could do a little bit better than that. And she starts with 50 on the table.
Confidence.
Do you match it?
Kay will slap her entire bag down, which is 14 gold.
Now, you did receive quite a lot of money from Fawnley.
Yeah, but I'm not holding it.
I forgot about
I
that
would not
money.
be-
I
and
was
I would not be
counting that.
betting it either.
Oh, I bet it.
Oh, you were betting that one.
Yes!
I bet 20 gold from that money.
Yeah,
I
Kay,
was betting the money that I won shooting arrows.
I assume Kay doesn't have any of that money, and Kay would not want to bet that money. Kay's not 100% sure she's going to win
I
this.
thought I took the bag of money.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
Post that
Probably
conversation.
Langston has it, but what you do see from where you are is definitely Kay
It's fine.
needing someone to
There's
do this.
Sorry, I was betting I had been given 52 gold at one point, not the 500 gold to secure the ship.
Got
Yeah.
it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Probably from
I
the
don't have-
arrows
Because
or
you
whatever.
got that gold by winning shooting
Yeah,
arrows.
yeah,
again.
exactly. Yeah, that's
So
what I
here's-
was.
Okay, yeah.
Here's the deal, though. Like, Kay can't. Like, you started this bet, and the hypes are up, and then you see Kay realize like she can't afford this. So someone's got to come in real quick and give her the money.
Yeah, I'll,
I
what did she need?
How much do you need, Kay?
40 or
36.
36 gold.
36.
Fine, she says and hands it over. Ah!
Kay does not
Perfect.
have a lot of gold. If you come up like to the table, Kay will give you like this slight raised eyebrow and try to convey the, it's probably 50-50. Like, look,
The crowd at this point is sort of taking over, and there's very little to be done unless you're absolutely shutting this whole thing down right now.
Yeah, she like hands you the 36 gold, and then she like takes Maggie in like the tall drink of water that she is, and then she claps Kay on the shoulder and goes, "Good luck. I God, you'll need it." And then walks away.
And Maggie Moon shines this brilliant smile to you. And as you push back, like, through the crowd to go back to Langston, you
Yeah.
realize that, like, the patrons are at this point, like, flocking to the Kinscrap room, and you're having,
Yeah.
like, they're all hoping for a spot in the front row to witness this action. And you have to kind of, like, push through to get back
Yeah.
to where you are. And then Pennigan, the referee, blows the cone shell, and a low blast vibrates the entire tavern. And then, knowing that an intense match is about to begin, the entire tavern lifts in a collective voice and starts singing a shanty. And it's the Kinscrap shanty that they all start singing at the top of their lungs, which I will not sing to you, but I will read to you. No, it's fine. I have never had a bed to call my own or take a nap, and I've never had an argument without getting slapped, and I've never found a pile of gold with a treasure map, but at least I never lost
They'll
a
never know.
match of old
Oh.
kin scrap.
Amazing.
And they start singing this at the top of their lungs as the match begins, which we will hit as we return from break. All right. Let's get right back into the action. And action it is. I'm concerned by how many swords you own, Dimples. Okay. You already own 2 more swords than I have, and that, I'm gonna take away a point from, like, I don't know, your health every time. I just want the swords. Anyways, let's get to it. So,
Ida does not like this.
Ida does not like this. Lulz. Alright, so, where are we? We're here in the Kinscrap tent, where the action is about to begin as the tavern is lifting in a collective voice and singing the Kinscrap song as the match begins. A shanty, if you will. So, let's talk about this game. Also, I'm going to add one thing real quick to my beautiful players. I know how much y'all are betting. Put that in chat. I don't know how much Langston's betting, so if you want to put that in chat. And then Waffles, if you can at one point for me, like, as we win, like, do the math on what this means and, like, what everybody gets, that would be very helpful for me afterwards. But first, the tavern game. Kinscrap is a contest of strength and determination. It's an arm wrestling game, which is the epicest and coolest way to describe arm wrestling, and how I will always do so from now on. So, 2 wrestlers locking hands in battle until they pin their opponent's arm to the table. Throughout multiple rounds, each wrestler will make a contested strength check. Victory is awarded to the first wrestler with 3 consecutive successes. There are 2 things that you wish to know and utilize. Maybe, maybe not. Momentum. Momentum is that the victor of the current round's strength check has momentum and gains a bonus of +2 to the next round's check. This bonus increases by a +2 with each additional victory, but it's removed when the opponent wins. And then there's over the top. Once per game, a wrestler can choose to take 1 point of exhaustion to give a +6 to their current strength check. If possible, though, you should tell me this in secret if it was against another player, but it's Maggie Moon over here, so you're going to tell me this before your roll. Alright?
Okay. May I ask what the... Because I don't remember all the D&D rules. The first level of exhaustion is disadvantage on skill checks, right? Or is it just attacks?
Disadvantage on
on
skill checks.
Okay. So does that count for an ability check strength? Will I be rolling a disadvantage for the rest of the combat after that?
No, ability checks and skill checks. So if you do is just a straight strength check. Yeah, that actually does count as a ability check. Never mind.
A skill check.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So it should be
It's still a
probably
check.
like the way it would work is like it's like the final push, like where you risk it all basically.
Yeah, you want it to be the final push, and then if you fail, you're probably kind of screwed, so...
Don't get
Makes
exhausted.
sense. Yeah, just don't fuck up.
All right.
Waffles, what's the big deal?
I can only do it once per game, so I can't push it to the limit.
And all our money is on you, so like, it's fine.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
much money is on the table right now? I'm curious.
50 on the table, and then I think 20 from
40.
each of them, so 40, so 90 total. Just between like PCs and however much thousands the bar is throwing around, probably.
If you lose, we are asked.
Oh yeah, that's gonna fuck me up real bad. Don't lose.
I'll probably lose. Let's go. I'll bring out my Lore of Aetherra D20 for this one.
Oh, snap.
Dark Symmetry dies. All right. Here we go. The horn blasts, and it's to an extent that like you can tell there's some. It's not just like somebody blowing into a conch. It reverberates across the entirety of the bar. It is carrying through magically. Go ahead. First contested strength checks. We have oh yes, 90 gold and 1,000 bits.
Okay. What's the plus to her strength?
Gotta be ready to make it rain and
Wouldn't you
ditties.
like to
I'm just
know?
saying.
What's yours? What's your plus?
+3.
Okay.
All right. First
I
roll
like how the answer was.
is a 15. I want to make sure because we messed this. I messed this up sometimes. It is just a strength check. It's not like strength check parentheses athletics or something.
Athletics.
Right. I believe this is going to be just strength. We're going to say just strength checks
Okay.
against each
Then
other.
it is natural 12 for a 15 for me.
And this is... All right. Against an 11.
Whew.
So, as you clasp arms on the table, the little head kind of poking out from underneath the table, watching y'all with intensity. The referee also staring at you all with intensity. As grasp and you tighten your grip and you just start and you're making some headway. You're like, oh, I got this. I can do this. And Maggie Moon's like staring at you, and like there's no like half-assing this right now off the bat, and you're both like gritting your teeth right off, and she's resisting, and she's like glaring at you, daggers, but she looks stunning doing it in her beautiful red dress and perfectly placed golden crown. We continue. And I do believe this means that you currently have momentum, I believe, right? So you have a +2 to this next
Yep.
check.
There's only one way to win. That's K to win. There's only one way
Just
to win.
Keep
That's K
my
to
hand
win.
up there every time I roll, so Syrup can come look at it if she wants to. I usually get hot when I roll dice, so they keep getting better and better. Natural 15 on this one for a 30-20.
Ooh. Damn. All right.
Because of the +2 as well. So.
Yeah, with the momentum's a lot, absolutely. So with this is actually just a 17.
Oh god.
So you continue and kind of straining, and at this point you see Maggie Moon being like trying to just breathe heavily through her nose, and she's like focusing, and the crown on her head like shifts just a little bit, teetering dangerously, and she's aggravated and annoyed, and she is not liking this.
Is it?
Look over to Hex like, why is this so attractive?
Is it cheating to talk during it?
Trash talk is.
As long as it's short, because it's pretty. Like, you've had 2 rounds now. Like, this is quick. This is a quick match, but by all means, go for it. What are you saying?
Not even really trying to distract her, but Kay would look up. Like, also been staring daggers into her eyes, kind of like just very serious during this moment. But when she feels herself like getting to like the 45-degree mark on these 2 successes, she goes, and maybe a date in the future.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! Me, syrup, yes.
Kay is completely serious about it. It's not to throw her off.
Yeah. She looks up at you, like from staring at your grasped hands, and you know how like you're staring at it with intensity as you're gritting your teeth, and then her eyes just kind of flicker up to you. She just smiles. And we're gonna roll again. You now have a +4.
Yep.
Right? 2 + 2 stacked. Now I'm considering here. I have a conundrum to chat real quick. Do I use my own Lore of Aetherra Dark Symmetry die here, or do I continue to use the Siren's Call Chunky D20? This is a very important critical decision, and I will blame chat if it fails, so no pressure.
You want me to do the one thing that only we can do and come over and roll beside you?
No,
okay.
It's okay.
But yeah, chat. What's
It's getting hot in here. No?
It's getting hot.
You can take that exhaustion though. Even the GM can do it.
Kay's going to.
Oh, I know. Oh.
Yeah, Kay's going over the top period
There's
because
only one way
basically the way
win.
I
That's
see
Kate
it
to win.
is if the GM doesn't, it's a high likelihood for me to win, and then if the GM does, we're both at disadvantage. So.
That's fair. That is
so
fair.
Tactically, I should be taking the over the top right now.
Well, let's find out. The real problem here, y'all, I just want it to be known, is that Waffles and rolling is absolutely off the charts. It was yesterday. Every hero point that he used was a nat 20.
So
literally, the chances of me winning. All right, we're gonna use the Siren's Call.
Right.
This is on you, Anne. On you,
Wait a
Anne
second.
Richmond.
I'm ready for that nat one.
Uh-oh.
Great. Give me that nat 1.
All right. All right, what's you get?
I got a natural 11 for a 21.
You want to come see what I rolled? The response was gross. She rolled a natural 19.
Boo.
Oh, does that mean the momentum goes the other way now? You
Bro,
lose the
if she
momentum?
wins, maybe what if she only has a +2 to strength?
Spoilers. She
Yes.
doesn't.
The 8-foot-tall woman who we all want
only
to
a
step on
+2.
us has a +2. No.
Now, I don't want to spoil the modifier for you just yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you the total, but I will say that she beat, because you saw the roll here.
Sure, yeah.
So she.
Can I use a hero point or something?
No, we're playing D&D, so
I didn't know if we had like advantage or something here.
Maybe she has inspiration.
Advantage is too OP, unfortunately.
Wow.
Like I know it isn't, but it is.
We don't have our cleric. We don't have guidance.
It's
we
true.
don't have-
It's true.
No, it's okay. That's okay.
Well, no magical intervene. No, this is interesting. This is
Yeah,
interesting stuff. Okay. The chat and the tavern
Cheating if you
goes
don't get caught.
to a hush as slowly she inches her way back over, not letting you finish it off. And as she grits her teeth and focuses and pulls it back up a little bit, she looks back up at you and gives you a wink. Again! Roll again!
Kay winks back and is now rolling at disadvantage. I saw that face. What is that, a nat 20? If it is, I don't think I can beat it because she's got stiff. Disadvantage was a 10. So wait, hold on. I'm so stupid. Hold on. I don't think we can go back. It's hand off the chest piece, but I didn't add my strength modifier to that last roll.
What?
I only added the momentum and the over the top. So I rolled a natural 11. I added a plus 10, but I have a plus 3 to strength.
So how much was it total with the...
24.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. I was like, oh wait, my 10 is actually pretty high, and then I realized I didn't add the strength modifier to the other one. I just added all the momentums and the over the top.
I see. So one more time. Sorry, the total was
24. Because it was natural 11 plus 4 for momentum plus 6 for over the top, and then plus 3 for strength. I know. I'm sorry.
So I just rolled a natural 20.
Wait, if you took the you rolled a 19. If you took the plus 6, then that still wouldn't have won. Because that would have been a 25.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
But I didn't use the plus 6.
She didn't do the over the top.
Oh shit!
But it's fair to say if you don't want to go back, I understand. I just
She...
forgot about it.
That's fair. But she does recover that little bit of momentum. But we'll do this. You don't have exhaustion. That's the little retro we're going to do. Okay. It's going to be a loss, but it's not... You don't have exhaustion. And so she does gain this momentum. Now she did roll a natural 20, so now go ahead and roll one more time because you just rolled with disadvantage. So this is your contested check for this next round.
Not gonna be the natural 20. 17 total.
Okay. So with her natural 20 and the plus 2 to the momentum, she is now back in the middle and she starts overtaking. And so now you guys are back to center.
Well, it's just 3 consecutive wins, right? So if she wins the next one, she probably just wins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, true. So she starts. Yeah. So we'll say she starts bringing you back to you're now on the defensive.
Yep. So next win for her, she wins.
Yeah, and you feel sweat kind of starting to gather as you're really just you're gritting your teeth and exerting all your energy to really get this going. One more and you lose all that money.
No. Top here because I can't afford that. Can I tell if she's gonna use the over the top? Can I say I'm gonna over the top if she does?
You look at her and how she looks. And you can tell she cares. You know, make me a perception check.
Oh, goodness. I think I'm bad at this. 14. That's not bad for my -2.
Yeah, so you look at her and you can tell. So as you're this close to her now, okay? She has long black hair, a dented golden crown on top of it. Her arms and face are scarred and weathered from a hard life. Yet she is still strikingly beautiful. And you can tell with how she poised herself, with how she's dressed, that she cares deeply about her appearance, about how she presents. And you don't think that she is going to, even in this moment, risk that.
Risk that she has to like look like she's trying.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will nod over the top.
All right.
Yes. Natural 18 for a 21 because I don't have any momentum or anything.
So for her, it is a 17. So you return that volley with one of your own. And we're going to say at this point, this is the last one. We've been enough back and forth. This is it, y'all. This next roll, winner takes all, because y'all are getting tired even without this exhaustion. You guys are, there's only so long our wrestling matches can hold because it gets tiring.
Yeah. Okay, I'll over the top then.
Well, fine. I mean,
I was gonna push it to the end and over the top again like last time, so.
Yeah, go for it.
Go. All right. Natural 17. So that's a 20 plus 2 for the momentum, 22 plus the overtop, 28.
19 for Maggie Moon.
Yes!
So you slam her arm down on the table to the tavern explodes. Absolutely explodes.
Kay leaves her hand on hers for a second.
You
Oh
slick motherfucker, you!
She, like, her disposition shifts, and she glowers for a second, and she just looks at you with this, like daggers in her eyes. And then your hand, like, lingers for a second, and she glances down at it, and she takes her hand out from under yours, and you were tied hand to hand, like at the wrist, with a rope for this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And she just like rips it off of her, basically. Drops it to the ground, looks at you, and then seeing obviously the eyes of absolutely everybody in this tavern looking at her, she leans back and kind of like amicably all of a sudden just kind of like, congratulations.
Yeah, I think Kay will speak up a little bit and like kind of rub the back of her head and say, I'm a little upset you didn't go all out, but I'll take the win. And say it like loudly enough for other people to hear.
She notes it, but she stands up and kind of like, smooths out her dress and goes to head back to the table, leaving the 50 gold like on the little like thing for you. And like she looks like she pauses at the like after lifting the tent flap and like looking back at you, and she's just like, you can make your request. And like basically writing like you can go back, follow her to the table, make your request in a bit more privacy. And the tavern going wild, cheering, having a great time. Like drinks are toasted, like people are groaning, the diehard fans are upset. Like there's a whole wet wash of emotion that waves over like the entire place, and the crowd, a lot of people like kind of go to sort of almost like swarm the bar at this point because everybody has like drunk everything that they've had, and so like the bar's super busy all of a sudden, and y'all Hex and Langston are like busy dealing with.
I'm making sure that everyone's money gets properly laid out at this point. All the people who
Absolutely.
betted on K gets their proper due.
And
so what
I'm
do
so
we get? We get 3 times what we put in?
You should get 3 times of profit what you put in. So you technically, like if you put in 20, you'll get 80 back because you get 60
yeah,
in
baby.
profit.
Thank God somebody
Amazing.
understands this, because
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, Waffles,
I was
you
getting
doing
there.
this.
Waffles got you. We're
Amazing.
on it.
So, with that, money is exchanged and hands are, some had to be pried from, but nonetheless, you go to collect your dues. As Kay returns to the table, what between Hex and Langston, real quick, as you guys are dealing with this money, who of you has like the money from Fawnley?
It's Langston for sure. I
Langston.
think we discussed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And both of you are collecting. Langston, you're the one that's collecting for Kay, right? Because Hex was for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're doing so and you're collecting this money, so how much do you have now? 80 gold?
Oh, my positive monies at this point is, without counting the 500, is 92 gold.
Okay. You do so, you start collecting. Hex is with you and helping. Can you both make me perception checks?
Absolutely.
19.
Just saying, if
Okay.
pickpocket comes at me, I'm going to bite off their neck.
Yeah.
Get ate by a dragon.
For a 12? Okay. So Hex, as you are moving about with Langston and collecting this money, you glance back to the table that you were previously at, and you notice an individual at the far corner table that was not there before. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Okay. You return to Maggie Moon's table.
Yep.
She leans back, kind of like, massaging her wrist a little bit, like, well, how can I help you? What's your request?
Kay is a little sheepish at this point, really not wanting to throw Maggie off. Kay never wants to ruin someone's reputation, especially if Kay's not taking the reputation up. It's not like Kay's gonna become the next Maggie Moon or anything. But so a little sheepish now will kind of lean forward and say, "It's a pretty simple question. I was wondering if you had heard of anyone named Kay or seen anyone that looked like myself coming through here."
She kind of takes like a better look over you. K is an acronym at best. I can tell you a list a mile long of individuals' names that start with K, my dear. But ones that look like you. She's really discerning you over, and she's like, stand up and do a twirl for me.
She will stand up and do a very it's not a twirl. It's like a fumbly spin.
Yeah, it's okay, I'm turning around.
Look, here I am. Here's my arms up in the air.
She kind of smiles. I'll be honest, I don't know. But thank you for that. How about this? I will keep an eye out for you, an ear out for you, but is there any more information that you could give me? An age range? A profile of any kind?
Does Kay think that she can trust this person?
I think even without an insight check, it's, Maggie Moon's, if you were coming here and being like, oh, this performer, I'd be like, okay, insight check. But you're coming at this knowing that the strays are something more than just performers. So obviously she runs a gang of some sort. they're always utilized. She had interest in the book. She collects knowledge regardless. So can you fully trust her? No. But do you think that, like, if she says that after you winning the bet, will she keep her word to actually look out for things? High likelihood, yes.
Okay. Kay will lean in close, almost at like a whisper. Obviously, I don't think she can whisper to get the sound across in the bar, but we'll like kind of also cover her lips so no one can read them and say, likely someone that could be my mother, at the very least.
And Maggie sort of like nods knowingly. And she kind of waves like two of her little like crew over, whispers something to the two of them, and it seems to be like, from what you catch, like a general description, like Kay, and the two, and then she's like waves them off, and the two of them go off.
Yeah, and Kay would lean back at this point and say, I can't tell you what to do, but ideally this doesn't get out to anyone who you can't control.
Well, interesting choice of words. If that's the case, then I'm not concerned.
Okay, we'll give a wry smile and kind of double pat the table and say, well, next time I see you, maybe we'll pick it up where we left off.
She smiles at you, but otherwise doesn't seem to fully react, and but like it's like a knowing smile, definitely. And she just kind of like waves you off as you are off to return. Now, Hex, this individual that you, as I lose my place, hold on. This individual that you now see occupying the cornermost table, is not alone. So one second. Alright, so you just notice somebody there watching kind of everything that's gone down here, and watching with like a interested, like, relaxed pose. He has a drink in front of him. You don't know how long he's been there.
She sort of like elbows Langston and says, "Do you think that's the captain?"
Only one way to find out. And then Langston starts walking towards him.
Yeah.
All right, so the two of you head over, and then after a little bit, Kay, are you going back with everybody else?
Kay will stop by their table first for a second, just kind of sit down, take a drink, put a little of the leftover meat in their mouth, just like take a breath at everything that they just went through, and then go join everyone else.
All right. And it's not the table that they're at, like that they're going towards, is not far off at this point, right? You guys are all in that same little corner.
Yeah, when she sits down, she's probably like watching them, kind of thing, to make sure they don't get in trouble, but not even trying to listen in, just taking a breath.
Absolutely. Okay, so you guys head over, and like I said, they're not alone. And as you head over, you see a collection of other people hanging around this table, laughing, drinking. There's like a little party happening in this corner at this point, especially after the crowd starts to disperse and everyone kind of comes back over. And the man sitting there is jovial and drinking and seems to be the center of attention, regaling everybody with stories and exploits. As you kind of walk up and join the crowd that's sort of gathering around the table, you hear a laughter, and oh well, really, it wasn't a big deal. It was, just one of the many times I've made the journey, and Oh, seems like we have some newcomers. Welcome. Kind of raises a glass in your
So
direction.
glad he noticed us, because otherwise I was going to send Ida to just go harass people into the.
Are you Captain
I might do it anyway.
Redwall?
There's a small little giggle from one of the corners, one of the women that has a hands on his shoulder, and he looks over and he's like, "No, I am Captain Redfall, though."
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard the twins, the bar, say your name, and that's on Captain Redfall.
One of the folk that are standing around kind of looks with a raised eyebrows like, "You haven't heard of the great exploits of Captain Redfall before?"
Well, there's nothing like the opportunity to hear them for the first time.
Oh, now that's quite. I mean, well, and he kind of it goes off into immediately telling one of the stories.
Yeah.
Kind of almost where he.
I
Go ahead.
definitely interrupt. I'm like, "Dearest Captain, while I appreciate your wondrous exploits and the stories that I'm certain that you could tell, what if I offered you the opportunity to tell your greatest story? One beyond that of any mortal king. One that would put you in the annals of history forever."
He raises both eyebrows and leans forward, putting both forearms on the table in front of him. And he also, speaking of, there's a lot of impressive people here today, it seems, as he's also an intimidatingly large, he's a person that carries both presence physically as well as with his ego, if you will. And he puts both forearms on the table, and the table creaks with the weight as he looks intently at you. And he looks up. And then back at you. "What makes you so confident that I'm not already in the annals of history?"
Did you
If you
kill
glance
that
up.
thing? She says, pointing up at the big skeleton on the ceiling.
He gives this wicked grin with a wink, and he's just like, "Cheers to that."
Game respects game, I must say. Garçon! And she's ordering drinks for people.
It's definitely paranormal, parent trap.
However, and he raises a hand to you, Langston, and waves you to come sit down. Come. And he kind of just scrapes a chair open that's next to him, and honestly, the person that was sitting there scrambles out of that seat.
If they
and
don't,
he
Ida's
pats
going
it.
to hiss.
Come sit. Tell me, what is this proposition that you have? Because I'm not one to pass up another adventure if it's worthy of one.
And I basically give him abbreviated version of the story of Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
But I make it sound incredibly exciting.
Well, so hold on. What information are you telling? I need to be clear.
So we need a ship to go to, what's the place?
The
Some epic
God,
name that I forget.
Yeah, exactly.
we need to go where Gilgazo went and disappeared in a grotto across Broken Top Bay.
Yes.
Hex.
Yes.
Take inspiration, aka Chicky Nuggy, aka Hero Point for me for those fancy notes.
Wait, we don't do hero points. Hold on.
And Langston basically relays that much. Doesn't tell
So just-
who he's going or why he's going for.
Okay. Don't mention Gilgazo, you don't mention a Lost Druid,
Nope.
you just say
I
we
need
need to get
this
across
place.
to Broken Top.
And I've heard that it is a dangerous and perilous journey that only the bravest captains and crews would ever attempt to make. And perhaps I am with the right captain, perhaps I'm with the wrong one. But considering your exploits, maybe.
Throws his head back with a loud laugh as he takes he takes his cup and he absolutely downs it, like not answering you for a second as he chugs it, and for a moment kind of wipes.
Take my cup and I throw it over my shoulder like I'm drinking it along with him.
There's one person who was kicked out of that seat that you're now sitting in that gets splashed at his feet, and he's like, what? Gets like all like upset, but doesn't really, make. He's there. It's fine. He's gonna deal with it. But he wipes this thick, long, scraggly black beard, and he wipes the residue off, and he's just like, oh, I've braved the terrors of Broken Top Bay twice and lived to tell the tale. You wish to have me do so a third time.
Well, all the best stories come in 3. All the best stories come in 3, she says.
Have you ever done it with a dragon?
He kind of tilts his head sideways, like seeing some movement, and Ida had been like back curled up, and Ida pokes their head out. Let me see. Come on out.
Ida, if you will.
Ida.
The captain offers a potential horde in the future.
And the captain kind of just like goes along with it. Kind of, he seems like to have a way with.
I say this in Draconic, unless he can understand me.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on, maybe he can. And so he kind of like watches for a second with a very interesting discerning eye, and as Ida, not one to like not show herself off. I mean, come on. She's had to hide away for far too long, and she kind of comes out and spreads her little wings and like make sure that the light catches them in the perfect ways as she's wont to do, and looks for like anything shiny on the table, and you do see like there's a couple of coins that have been like left on the table, and you see her kind of, because you're sitting there, you see her kind of jump off your shoulder and step onto the table, and with like a little sort of proud thing, you see her like sweep around, and you notice that like those coins are not there after she does that little sweep of the wing. Maybe that was her incentive, maybe not, hard to tell. And Redfall looks interested for sure, but also curious. I hear what you have to say, and he kind of looks over at Hex with an acknowledgement of like, third time tends to make for an interesting story, but it's not a simple journey. And not one I'll make for just anybody. And he sits there and thinks for a second. I could do so for a fee. And you're not likely to find another as suited for the journey as myself. Kind of like reminds you. But why should I trust you? I must remind you, as you seem to not be familiar with my work, that nobody boards my ship without pulling their weight.
I think you'll find us quite capable. And she, this whole time, has been like holding on to her bow, which is still crackling with like a little bit of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, we have faced a few hardships already after coming ashore today, and we've come out on top of all of them. And after all, we crossed the sea to get here, so I think you'll find us more than ready to take on any comers.
I look over at
Kay. And it's
Kay,
the two of you? Yep.
and I point at Kay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you see that one over there? Did you happen to catch that match of kin scrap that just happened?
Indeed, I did. Are they with you?
Indeed, they are.
At this point, Kay will start walking over.
Yeah, I'm very clearly pointing at you. Okay.
Stuffs like 6 more pieces of cured meat into her mouth and then walks over.
You are beyond capable. We are probably the most capable that you've ever seen.
Easy, she says, like under her breath. She's like, cool it. Too much.
Well, I do respect a good display of physical strength. And he like raises a fresh glass, like the one having kind of just been like taken away at some point, and a new one placed in front of him. And he raises it to you, Kay, as you kind of join in. A job well done. Not many people that bring Maggie Boone to the Kinscrap tent.
Kay gives a little nod and tired voice says, "Thank you. Took a lot out, but I'll be better tomorrow."
So the 3 of you then.
Actually,
There's
we
one
have,
more.
yeah, we travel with another. His name is Locke.
It's actually
He's,
2 more, right?
Right? Oh, right. Yes.
Yes.
We have 2 more with us.
And you see Bayfire's been like kind of standing in the wall against the like back behind where you were, Kay, like behind your table, having y'all approach and be talking to the captain. Mayfire's like watching y'all, but having not intruding necessarily on the conversation. But as you all kind of like look back at her, she peels herself off from like the wall and comes to like join in. And he looks you all over. So 2 more. You said a Locke?
A Harringen. He has a lot of seafaring experience, or at least that's what he tells us.
Also a very skilled healer.
Interesting. Not many Haringans around these parts. Where is he?
He went to the docks to go pick something up. He'll be around shortly, I'm sure.
Attending to some personal matters, I believe.
Well, when all of you are here and I can properly judge who all will be joining on such a journey, we can discuss the details. It will cost, as I'm putting the life of my crew at risk. But you
Will make for a great story.
Well, I would love to hear the story of your seafaring friend and what experience they have. Sound like an interesting fellow. And at this point, there's this like little miniature explosion noise that happens back to the side of the tent, the Kinscrap tent. And cursing, and you look over across the room, and both the tiefling bartenders are like, oh no, not, and like you just see them like absolutely frustrated as Peregrine goes and like jumps like under like the bar to get out from under it and start literally just like running over to that corner. And Captain Redfall starts shaking his head, and he's just like, well, that is not something I want to be around for. Meet me in the morning.
Where?
Here. We'll discuss.
Very well.
You will look at.
Sounds good.
And he stays there, but when he doesn't want to be around for that, he starts drinking more.
That is dismissing us
Fair.
to drink more. I got it.
Yeah.
And it's not one of those things where it's like if you all wish to try to convince him further or do anything like that, he's still around. You can absolutely talk to him. But he seems to be interested in seeing the whole party. And it seems to be that you would look to wait for Locke to join. to see exactly what's going on. But first, there's a distraction of an explosion as a little cloud of purple starts billowing out from that area of the floor. And in that moment, what do you all do?
Have to go towards the explosions because heroes go running towards explosions.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll grab some kind of cloth to cover their mouth and slowly walk that way.
And as the purple starts billowing out from that area, the two older gentlemen, Rip and Arlo, kind of like get up from their table, and they seem to not miss a beat. As you're running in that direction, they pick up their drinks and just move over, one pulling an extra drink and the other scooping like a cat out of the way and like backing up into like a further away table, like, oh, yep, this is happening. Peregrine like stops at the outskirts of the space. People exit the tent as the smoke starts to like exude from there. Now this is an open area, so some of it does begin to filter out like through the openings and the canvas roofs, and she seems to stand there like rubbing her temple on the outskirts of this. You guys run up as you approach. Do you go into it, or do you?
Yeah, she's gonna stop and talk. Who's rubbing their temple?
One of the tiefling bartenders. This one, Peregrine, I think. I don't want to say the right thing.
Paradigm.
Parable, thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
Paradigm. Duh.
She drops off she like busses her own cups and drops them off at the bar, and she says, "Is this normal, this sort of thing?"
Does it look normal? Sorry. No. Yes, no, it's Blink. He always gets into shenanigans, always manages to do something. And she just like looks up like at the entirety of this place. And it seems like she's gesturing to like the way the building is.
Yeah. She says, "Could you use a hand?"
She looks over this time, like for once, like looking away from the purple smoke that's beginning to kind of filter upwards and outwards, and sees you and Kay and Langston all standing there. Is that correct?
Yep.
Recognizing willing individuals that are not her, she goes, yes, absolutely. Handle this, please. Thank you so much. And if you do, a round of free drinks.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll try to stop her real quick. Oh, sorry. Go. You can speak first.
Sorry. Yeah, she says, no tabs, and she.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just try to stop her real quick and like even like stick an arm out to stop her from running off real quick and say, "Do you have rooms?"
There's an inn next door.
Free rooms?
You recalled that Mayfire has already gone to secure rooms for you.
Never mind. Just
however,
kidding. I'll take the drink.
So, off she goes back to the bar, and there is the room is split so far of like people that are like, oh, yep, okay, moving away from this, but not nonplussed, like, okay, and some that are like talking about it, some annoyed because I have to leave the Kinscrap tent for this, and other similar sort of things. As the smoke starts to clear a little bit, you do see basically there is a overturned table in the corner that you're beginning to see a little bit obscured from the smoke, and there is a plump gnome who's sitting there like behind the table, muttering to himself. Seems to be brooding and irritated and like peeking out from over the table and mumbling something, and all you catch is the situation.
What situation? She says as she like steps in.
Definitely
What?
running up on his shit and asking questions.
What? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, you've alerted the general populace of the establishment to your workings in here.
That wasn't intentional. But you know, it happens. That's okay. Why? What do you want? Do you want to try this? He literally, like, out of nowhere pulls out this little vial and holds it up to you,
What
Hex.
does it look like? Can I see?
Would you like to roll a 1d4 for me and I'll tell you what it looks like?
Yeah. All right, that is a 3.
Alrighty, so this is it's in this little vial and it looks like this frothy pink liquid.
Yes, and she drinks it.
Oh.
And he looks so eager. So I will.
No.
Yeah, I will give a second. I mean, like, this could take a second to like if you say yes, he's going to grab it. He's going to like pop the cork.
Yeah.
And start again, like from behind this little table, like pulling this like stemmed fluted glass and start pouring it into
Amazing.
this. So y'all have a second to like react.
Yeah.
Can Kay make the equivalent of a crafting check, an alchemy tinker tools check, just by seeing it from where they are? I'm not gonna like taste it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a skill in D&D, so I'm just gonna roll my intelligence and add proficiency, because I think that's about how it would go.
I like it.
So 14.
Okay. It's not something you've ever seen before. That's for sure.
Okay.
You're not quite sure what it is. However, as he pops the cork, this little gnome and pours this frothy pink liquid into this fluted glass, as it hits the air, it starts to steam and nearly boils. As he goes, oh, hold on, hold this, don't drink it yet. And he like holds it off to Hex.
Yeah.
Hold on. And like he ducks back behind and he shuffles through his bag and pulls out a couple of ice cubes from a little bag. Like that makes sense. And throws a couple of ice cubes in. And the drink settles into like a fizz. And as you do this, like, Kay, you don't, it's imbued with a lot of magic.
Yeah.
And you're intelligent, and putting this with your role into like what just happened with the purple smoke and how erratic this individual is behaving, it's like there's a lot of magic, maybe conflicting magics, being put into this. Like, you don't know what it is, but it's a lot.
Sure. Yeah, Kay's highly interested, as they are. As buff as they are, they're equally, if not more, on the scientific sides of things. So Kay is going to keep their mouth shut and take a step back.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So Hex, you go, as the drink settles,
Yeah.
you get a whiff of it. It smells, I'm gonna mispronounce this, but it smells like saccharin.
Like sweet.
What is that?
Like really sweet.
Okay. Sickly sweet?
Yeah.
She says, an aperitif.
And
and yeah, she's gonna
do it?
gonna like go ahead and drink it, yeah.
The drink
YOLO.
wallops you with the taste of pure sugar. So cloying you can hardly stand the taste.
Worse than cotton candy.
And yet weirdly too hot to chug. So you're forced to take small sips. Upon finishing it, well, first, why don't you make me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh boy. Sweet. All right, that's a natural 19 plus my wisdom save. So 21.
Okay. Upon finishing it, you begin to comment on how awful it was. But you start giggling to yourself instead.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. She just like takes it like is like looking for the answer in the bottom of the glass. And then she just starts giggling like I'll never tell, like that kind of style.
And Splink kind of looks at you really curiously and he's like just watching you with like big beady eyes. Huh. That's not supposed to do that. Okay. Well, how about you? You guys want to try? These are your friends? These are your friends?
She just shakes her head. But it's like the laughing like it's yes, but the shaking her head like it's, I don't know.
No, excellent. And he kind of squints his eyes at you. He's like, I get it. No, I have some of those too. Yeah, no, I get it. But you and like, Kay, you seem to be the most like interested and attentive. Okay, how about you? You want one? Gotta try? You want to try it? You're new here. I haven't seen you before. You want to try one?
She kind of peers her eyes. I'll try something different.
Oh, of course something different. There was only one of those.
Okay.
So you will? Okay. Okay, no, of course you will. Yeah, no. And it's not. And he kind of like turns around and for a second you see a little brown lizard that blend into the table, kind of scurry around and up the little gnome's arm. And he's like, no, I know but the situation is not, okay, all right, fine. And like it scurries back down and out of sight and like into like one, like up the sleeve of his shirt. And he's like, okay, try this one. Roll a 1d4 for me. Reroll it if it's a 3.
Okay. It's a 2.
I'm so glad that you got this one.
Okay. I'm getting laughed at by the 2 people that know the book.
Okay.
He takes out 2 identical pint glasses and goes to set them on the upturned table, realizes that it's upturned and he can't quite set them on that table, so he kind of scuffles around and moves to like the next table over and sets them on there. Okay. Hold on. And he pours the identical amount of light blue liquid in each of them. Alright, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna drink this one in 1 gulp. And then you're gonna drink the second one in 2 gulps. Okay?
Alright. If I do this for you, you know, brain to brain here, can we stop for the night? This is the most experimentation you're gonna get anywhere.
Stop what? Stop drinking? I don't want to stop drinking.
Stop drinking this. Switch to alcohol. Stop experimenting in the middle of a bar.
Oh, but alright.
Tonight, you can start tomorrow for all I care.
Looks up, like, peering through as, like, the purple's, like, beginning to dissipate. Oh. Tonight. Okay. Okay.
Alright. And then Kay will do exactly what they were told. 1 gulp, 2 gulps.
And you hear, as you go to do this, you hear him mumbling, assumably to the lizard, saying, tonight's only until midnight's tomorrow, so we just have a couple more hours.
In the middle of setting the first glass down, she's like, no, sun up. And gulp, gulp.
So, as you do so, they taste sweeter than any mountain berry you've ever eaten. And a wave of nausea washes over you for a moment before fading. Wait. Yes, no, okay. Whew, got scared. Leaving euphoria in its place. When the sensation levels out between the two, you are captive to the impulse to say everything in rhyme and rhythm.
Goodness
Amazing.
gracious. Why every time? Alright, I'll pull my notepad out.
When you drink this potion, you will elocute every word you speak as if reciting a rhymed poem, paying no mind if the words make sense or not. Despite this limitation, you understand, however, the literal meaning of every spoken language you hear,
Oh, interesting.
which will prove, just remember that the next time Langston speaks to Ida.
Yep.
And as you go to speak the next time, and let's say he grumbles something about, well, if the situation allows it, then maybe, and kind of is non-committal to you. And as you go to speak, you hear an interesting exclamation from yet again across the room, back at Captain Redfall's table, as he goes, "You!" And as you turn to look at where he's looking, in the midst of this interaction, you notice Locke entering the tavern.
Oh.
And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh no.
Let's go.
Thanks for coming. Everyone.
Nothing bad will
Let's
happen.
go.
We're absolutely fine.
We're
Everything's
great. You can
great.
only talk in rhythm and rhyme. That definitely won't interfere with anything that's going down right now.
I'm ready. This
And
is
then,
my
I
favorite
can
kind of
only
stuff
giggle.
anyway, so.
It's fine.
It's just,
Yeah, we got a giggler and a
No.
poet.
yep.
What
It's
would have
cool, though.
happened to me if I had failed the check?
You would have fallen prone, and worser effects of the. You're just giggling. It would have been worse. It would have
Okay.
been way
Amazing.
worse.
Super
Amazing.
hideous
would've-
laughter.
You would have went from LOL to Raffle.
Yes. Too soon to be LMFAO.
Amazing.
Nice.